When I found this, I was like, what is going on? They're making fractal miniature representations of the structure of the universe into a fractal form of a small monolith, and then creating giant temples to be larger and larger versions of that same concept. That's why they all have the shapes they do.
Tinfoil hat.
Oh, what the f are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Revolution will be podcasted. All right, welcome to Tinfoil Hat live from the Wolfpack Gold Studios. That's right, Wise Wolf, Gold and Silver, and Bitcoin. Just go to samtriple.gold, use promo code Tinfoil, and you too can get in on the precious metals game for as little as $50 a month. And we thank them for sponsoring the show. Very excited. Big news last night. I am the descendant of a Sumerian king. Kings.
King. Go King.
We're kings, dog. It's very excited about that. Heard that from our guest. He's back for part 2. Very excited. Straight from Mount Crushmore. Matt LaCroix, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Sam, it's good to be back. We couldn't fit it all into the last one, so it was good that we broke these up into 2 pieces, I think.
Yeah, well, every time you come on, it's a double banger. So we're very excited to do part 2. So, Matt, for those who might have not seen the last episode or maybe didn't see your other episodes, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you one more time?
Sure. My name is Matthew LaCroix. You could call me a lost civilization explorer, right? I delve into our ancient origins, tried to find evidence around the world, which I'm convinced is of a chapter of our history, a lost chapter of our history that has not yet been acknowledged by mainstream academia. So that is my crusade, which has, of course, led to a whole other avenue of ancient knowledge and incorporating, which is what this show is a part 2 from the last one we did. So the last one we laid out ancient timelines, emergence of civilization, right? Sharupak and Zayasudra, this legacy story. And we went all the way through these anomalies around the world to point out they're the same symbols crossing over, the same building styles, this code, right? This ancient code. And so today we're going to be delving into that code. And for anybody who's interested to go deeper into this, of course, you can find my website, thestageoftime.com, and my latest book, The Missing Key, Ancient Code of a Lost Civilization, that lays all this out. But this, of course, is a more comprehensive look that we're going to go deep into these symbols, what I believe they mean, and how I believe it's an ancient code that unlocks a enormous area of knowledge that we have been tracing called the Mies back in the first show, these divine laws of heaven and earth. And that is what I believe has been encoded and that we're going to explore today, Sam, if you're okay with that.
I love it, Matt. You must be the most interesting person at your high school reunion. So what are you up to, Matt? I'm just studying the history of ancient civilizations. That must be fun.
I haven't gone to my high school reunion.
You gotta go, bro, just to brag. You gotta go just to brag.
Yeah, nobody with shit going on goes to their reunion.
Yeah. Is that crazy, dude?
So
I missed my first one. Anyways, but I went back. But very excited to hear more about the Mies. So where would you like to start?
Well, we're going to jump in where we left off last time. So where we left off was we're following a code, right? We're following these similar symbols, the step pyramid, inverted and non-inverted, so upright and then upside down, and these 3 doors, and these mysterious T symbols, remember? This passing of pinecone, ancient knowledge through the pinecone symbol and the tree of life, and we're following some kind of a code that carries over cross-continentally on 3 continents, which is not supposed to exist, let alone in the accepted time frame we're told in ancient history, as in the last 6,000 years, but of course, even far before that. So we're going to be jumping into that today. And
Matt,
Sam, of course,
is the Mies the pine cone?
the handbag, I would consider the handbag the Mies, and that the pine cone is passing pieces of that knowledge to civilizations to create it. So like the handbag that they're holding, it's like all knowledge. It's the knowledge of the Mies, like all knowledge. And then the pine cone is them passing that knowledge to create civilizations, in my opinion.
Wow, that's crazy. I love that we call it a handbag too. Like it's probably with some secret vessel to pass the knowledge. They're like, and it's a handbag.
Yeah.
Well, remember, a lot of things aren't necessarily literal. We have to try to imagine, and I'll just quickly say this, is that there's a very important ancient researcher named Manly P. Hall, and he writes all of these books about ancient esoteric knowledge in humanity, right? Ancient mysticism. And he has this very important quote, and he says, once humanity learns the secrets of symbolism, a great veil will lift for their understanding. Now, because a lot of ancient things are not necessarily literal. I'll give you an example, Quetzalcoatl, right? And Kukulkan, the dragon gods of the Aztec and Maya and the pre-Maya and pre-Aztec. That was not a real dragon. It's a teacher who is trying to represent knowledge through a serpent reaching its highest form and ascending into a dragon. And we're going to be getting into dragons and serpents a lot today. It's a very important metaphor and a very important way to connect back this knowledge. And that's why I emphasize so much. Like, remember way back in shows, Sam, when we talked about America and the original name of America that came from South America with Amaru, the ancient dragon god, in which the indigenous peoples say that America was originally called Amaruca, the land of the feathered dragons.
Yes.
The name America came from, not an Italian explorer, because the ancient indigenous understood that it was a land that was founded by this, which I believe was the same reoccurring individual, like a dragon god, which in this case goes back to Thoth and ancient Hermes, and which you can see the serpents, and we're going to get into all that today. Well, but that's the point I'm trying to make, is that I would strongly consider that people remember there are literal aspects to truth, like, right? So we were discussing the Epic of Gilgamesh and how he was a tyrant king of the city of Uruk. That's literal. He was a real king, and there was a real city called Uruk. But then when we get into him fighting bulls in the sky, in the heavens, then you're getting into allegory, not real. So I just want to lay that down as we go forward so that people understand a lot of these symbols and these concepts and these motifs. Their purpose is to encode large amounts of knowledge so that it can be carried and passed on so that we can understand it. And that's one of the themes that I really want to highlight on this. Can you guys see this?
Yep. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so does that make sense, Sam?
Yes, totally. I love exactly what you're talking about.
So here is where I want to start, and then we're gonna get in really into down the rabbit hole today. That last show wasn't down the rabbit hole. This is down the rabbit hole because we actually go into the underworld. And that's what I mean by that. So buckle up, guys, because this is going to be pretty exciting. So this is a place called Shavus Tepe, again in the Vaughn region, that Sam's great ancestors were
so crazy, dude.
I mean,
crazy.
this is I'm just joking. I mean, obviously his family didn't have anything to do with building this, but
Stop. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know.
But the lineage that goes back to this region, which is really interesting, that hopefully he's going to explore his connections to Vaughn and his family ties. But this is in the Vaughn region. And here you see the 3 pillars in the front, and this is that mysterious civilization, that lost chapter we're exploring. right? Sam, when you look at that stonework, does that not look like it was made yesterday, right? It's incredible.
I can't believe how pristine it still looks. I mean, obviously, there's a little chip on a couple sides, but clean, right? That's really clean for something that
there's
old.
more left of this than there was of the Twin Towers after.
Well, it's because of the building material. So they are building with one of the hardest stones in the world. And that's why one of the reasons it can last the test of time, in which we don't do that. In fact, this is a great way to point out that concrete is the primary way that we build things in the world, and which is an incredibly poor usage of our materials, because it doesn't last. It doesn't have any of the signature energetic things that stone has. It literally doesn't last more than like 40 or 50 years. So imagine that, right? We're building a building. I know there was steel and other things involved in the Twin Towers. But what I'm trying to say is that they built in a way back then that we don't really build in a way now. And what we're looking at is something that I believe is 40,000 years old. And it's so sharp, you can almost cut your finger on those edges. And I've been there at least 5 times, and I'm always amazed by this site. But I just want to introduce this as we go forward, because look at the 3 pillars right here. Now, get ready, because the theme of 3 and all of this is going to be repeating all over the place.
How would you describe this, Matt, for people listening at home?
For people listening on audio, we're looking at an ancient basalt temple that's sitting atop more primitive, younger work in which the Urartian civilization of 2,100 years ago propped it up, the remnants of this. And we know that because there's another temple just like this above it on the hill, but it's all blown up. So this material, basalt, was what I believe is, of course, the original construction of the site. And there are 3 entryway pillars as you go in. And that is the concept I wanted to echo as we go forward here. So here we go. We're going to start in this, the 3 doors. This is where it gets really sort of like start to, go down that rabbit hole. Now, I showed the 3 pillars. Now you can see the 3 doors, which is also very similar to the Kef bas relief we talked about, which has the 3 doors as well that we'll be getting back to.
And so you referred to them as T's?
Well, there's step pyramids, and then there's T's, and then there's 3 doors. So there's really 3 primary sets of symbols that are all often used interchangeably that we're going to be following here, and we're going to build off of their complexity and what they mean. Now, they all relate to each other, though, and they're based off of this concept, the idea that there are 3 representations of concepts of the structure of the universe and the balance within that. So the step pyramid design, like we've been following before, with all of these designs around the world, they're showing the structure of the universe, which we're going to get into, okay? But then the T, as we're going to talk about, is more like the balance of that. And then the doors represent the 3 levels of that structure. So let's dive in, and that's where we're basically going to go right now. So on the left is Napa and Glacier. It's in Peru. This had a 3rd level, so it's your step pyramid and your 3 doors in one. But this level, the Spanish, when they came, put a piece of dynamite and blew the entire top of it.
Why would you do that?
Well, not only was it something maybe they found blasphemous because of religion, but there was also talk of being gold inside and other metals. So you can maybe a combination of both. But you can see how there was a 3rd level. And when you sit in this, guys, you can feel it. This is incredible energetically. And I do believe that this right here is a type of ancient technology.
Whoa.
So we'll get into that. So now you can see the mimicking of the 3 doors. This is Cambodia. And then you see the mimicking of 3 doors and the step pyramids. There are no T's here, but there are T's as we go. Wow. So here is the backside of the Sun Gate in Bolivia. Again, the other side. Now you have your doorways, your T's. Remember your inverted step pyramids like built into this. But most importantly, the 3 doors. Now, the 3-door concept. Remember this. And then remember when we get all the way to Da Vinci with the Last Supper, because you're going to see that this knowledge has been encoded all throughout ancient history. So here we see what I really want to point out and remember. Look, the middle door is always the biggest. Remember that. The middle door is always the biggest. Because the middle door represents physical reality. The manifestation of physical reality, which is like the stage of reality of the universe.
Yes.
Now, it means that these two, the left and the right door, they manifest this. I can't emphasize that enough. Meaning that these two,
the celestial realm, it says, and the underworld realm manifest the physical reality.
Exactly. So what they understood was the ancient cultures, and this is when I figured out the word cosmogram, remember, that's what led to this whole road. They understood that the universe is only made up into three pieces, and that concept of three is what's called a fractal that repeats itself in every level, every single level, from the smallest level to the largest level. It just keeps repeating itself. So remember that. And they realized that the three represent the three realms. That's the structure of the universe. Now, how did I figure that out? When I was studying this and working in ancient Egypt, the best thing that the ancient dynastic Egyptians did in terms of something good and not the bad things, like recarving the Sphinx's head, is that they did carry down these teachings very, very well. If anybody wants to read things like the Book of the Dead and others in ancient Egypt, they mastered their understanding of the left door, the underworld, but also understandings of the celestial realms. And they very much understood this very well. So when you're reading about their writings, you see that they talk about three realms of reality. It's not only the Egyptians, it's ancient cultures around the world. They all understood that there's only three pieces of the universe. Now, I need to emphasize this very strongly. The middle door, physical reality, is the only physical realm. The other two, the underworld, that religion then turned into hell, and the celestial realms, that religion turned into heaven, are metaphysical realities, realms. They are not space. They are not a cave somewhere. That's a fractal understanding, but it's not the real realm. They are actual realms of reality that we cannot get to unless there are certain meditative, shamanic, or psychedelic drugs involved, or even certain technology.
Is it always the case that the middle door, the physical reality door, is the only actual door also?
Well, they're always shown as doors.
Right,
so
but what I'm saying is that's
doors.
the only one in this image that you could actually walk through in on this plane. Anyway.
Well, how would you describe
because
this
it's
image,
physical?
Johnny?
Right. Well, what I'm asking is that all every time this appears? Is that pretty typical?
No, like here's an example. Look,
yeah, okay, I see.
The only similarity is that the doors are going to be different sizes. The middle is always going to be biggest. That's really the constant.
That's the constant. Okay.
Now, as you talked about, how would you describe this? What we're looking at right now, Johnny?
So we're looking at what's called the Gate of the Sun in Tiwanaku, and it's the back side though. Most people look at the front with Viracocha. Now the back shows three doors or three windows, depending on how you want to interpret it.
Or
with
one
the middle
door,
one,
two windows. Just in this structure, it looks like.
Yeah, and so what do you have are three windows or three doors, and they basically represent these three aspects of the structure of reality of the universe. Okay, and the ancient cultures, the ancient civilizations understood this to the point where they mapped it out. So it wasn't just like, oh, we recognize that it exists. No, we will map it out. And then I believe firmly, based on my evidence in studying this, that they then created technologies to be able to bridge them. So does that make sense, Sam?
Yes, it does. So you said that religion took these and gave them different meanings. Now, that celestial realm became heaven, the underworld became hell. Was there any connotations that those were actual kind of vibes of each of those places? Meaning that is the underworld a dark place of, let's say, demons and all that stuff, and the celestial realm is of angels and stuff like that.
So I will pull up the slide after that shows all that, but it'd be good just to talk about it first before I jump back into the slide. There have been deceitful things done in history. I'm sure you're not surprised by that. Okay.
Surprise.
Who I'm talking to right now, of course. This knowledge, as we're going deeper into it, like we've just begun, when you see where it leads to, you will understand why the church blocked it off. Okay. Christian monotheistic religions understood what is called the path of ascension, meaning what has to happen for us to reach that godly state, that sainthood, that Christ consciousness. And they understood that the underworld, imagine for a minute, we're a tree, and the underworld is where our roots are. Okay. And that physical reality is where our body is, and then our ascension or our consciousness is like the leaves of the tree up into the other realm. There is a fractal nature even within us, this concept. Now, if a human being does not do any shadow work, anything related to their transformation, any grounding work at all, no meditation, no grounding with earth, no deeper understanding, it will not matter how much knowledge they obtain. It will not matter. They will not grow. They will remain like a stagnant sapling that just like gnarly looking and can't get any light. Meaning that if you do not incorporate understandings of what the underworld is, you will not be able to ascend. So what the church essentially did is blocked off the path of ascension.
Whoa.
So they created this idea that the underworld is evil. Now, this relief we've looked at a bunch of times in the last show. This is from Kef Kalesi. I'm showing that huge relief that has these gods on it passing pine cones, okay? With the 3 doors, remember, above it, and then all these T's and the tree of life in the center. This depiction, I've determined, is actually not the celestial realms, but it is the underworld. So, remember when Gilgamesh went to go find the secrets of immortality and he found Zayasudra in his abode in the underworld, remember?
Yes.
So he goes to talk to Zayasudra to get the knowledge of humanity back. He doesn't go up into
sorry to cut you off. Do you think this literally happened, or do you think this is symbolism again?
No, this is literal.
Okay.
This is a literal event, and this is an ongoing depiction, not a one-time depiction. Meaning that what's being depicted here is not showing a single event, but a reoccurring concept that exists within all of reality that we have completely been disconnected from.
Whoa.
And let me explain what I mean by that. Imagine reality is like a sandwich, okay? And the bread above and the bread below, right, is what we consider like the 3 realms of reality.
Yes.
Celestial above, right, heaven.
Yeah.
The underworld below us, and then physical reality is sandwiched right in the middle. That's how I want you to think about reality. That's how it's more structured. And that's how the ancients believed it. It wasn't necessarily like we think of underworld is to our left and the celestial is to our right. It was above and below, but they depict this in a way to show the structure of it. Because you can't stack the same way. It doesn't really work that way. So what I mean by that, though, is that in the underworld, there is a balance that the ancients understood exists below and above. And it's a mirror of above and below. Now, these gods right here I'm showing on the screen, the Urartians tried to convert these into war gods. This one right here in particular, his name's Haldi. They tried to create him not only into a war god, but a solar god. And when I got down deep into this understanding and study, I realized that archaeologists had made a huge mistake. They had trusted too much what the Urartians had labeled these gods without realizing that they'd actually changed the gods into an inversion of what they used to be. Why? Because the Urartians were a war empire. And during that time period, all gods were considered war gods. That's why all gods during this time period, from Assyria down to Babylon, are all war gods, typically in what they're working with. That's what they considered Haldi. But Haldi wasn't a war god at all. That's what the Urartians converted him into. What was he originally? He is Enki. That's Enki. Enki's the creator of humanity. He's the knowledge bringer of all of time. And where is Enki? Enki's in the underworld.
Whoa.
We know that because the original first city on Earth, called Eridu, was his city. And all the tablets talk about it. And it talks about how his city was called the temple to the Abzu. And the Abzu is another name for the underworld, in which still to this day, Eridu could have some kind of very strange ancient technology, ancient things going on underneath the ziggurat that were never excavated, because the ziggurat is still never been fully excavated or even partially excavated. It remains today in the Iraq desert, the first city ever created, being looted consistently. And there are images all online about that happening, and it's so sad. You imagine, Sam, people with guns and stuff coming out to the most ancient site on Earth where our story began, finding tablets sticking out of the ground and artifacts and pottery, and then bringing them back to sell them on the black market in a place that archaeologists have abandoned and never fully excavated.
Jeez.
Why? Because it's Enki's patron city. And Enki turned into a inverted demon to religion. So in the underworld, Enki rules as a positive god. So there always has to be, the ancients understood that realms of reality must be maintained. They don't just exist there and sit there. They have guardians, and they have what are called like cycle masters that maintain them. And that's what I think the entire Anunnaki Anuna thing is. People listening to this, they're trying to wrap their heads around what they are. They have everything from the image of an alien group of aliens coming from some world to multidimensional beings that have conquered our reality and are trying to control us. I don't think any of that's true at all. I think what they really are fractals of God or source that maintains the universe.
Wow.
So maintains these realms of reality in balance, because you can't leave that to us, of course, even though we are in some ways a descendant or a connection to them in a lower form, we'll call it.
Guys, do you love your mom? Of course, we all do. And that's why you have to really knock it out of the park on Mother's Day. And there's no better place to go than 1-800-Flowers.com. Listen, flowers are the #1 gift for Mother's Day, but it can be really hard, to figure out which one is the best flowers to get your mom to show her how much you really love her, okay? For 50 years, 1-800-Flowers has been helping people send beautiful bouquets to their mom that will show love and express all the gratitude you have for everything she does.
Right now, when you order 1 dozen roses from 1-800-Flowers, they'll double your bouquet to 2 dozen for free. Twice the flowers for the mom who gives everything. For more than 50 years, like Sam was saying, 1-800-Flowers has perfected the details that matter most. Every bouquet is picked at peak freshness, carefully packaged, and backed by a freshness guarantee. 1-800-Flowers knows many of us procrastinate. I'm guilty. I'm very guilty there. And they've been saving their customers with same-day delivery for years. Even if May the 9th sneaks up on you, they can still make May the 10th count. I can tell you I've already got my bouquet to my mom from 1-800-Flowers scheduled for Mother's Day on the dot.
And Xavier will go to Mother's Day. You could say, oh my God, look at those. This is amazing. These are gorgeous. This will let you know your mommy care.
Talk about the bouquet you got, Sam.
Oh my God, it's beautiful. The bright colors. It's just magical. It just takes the room, and it's just, I'm like, oh, it's so light in here. The air is lighter. I walk lighter. I look at those beautiful colors. Go up a little bit.
So much
Ooh, this one. Look at that.
Look at that, man. Butterfly kisses. Yes. So here's what's up. Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th, and bouquets are selling out fast. Trust me, don't wait. To claim your double roses offer before they're gone, visit 1-800-flowers.com/tinfoil. That's 1-800-flowers.com/tinfoil. 1-800-flowers.com/tinfoil. We thank them for sponsoring the show, and we love your mother. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our good friends at True Work. If you're a working man and you put in a good day's work, you need the right workwear, and there's no better place than truework.com. Let me tell you about True Work. Working outside in the springtime means you're dealing with the chilly mornings, hot afternoons, and everything in between. Not to mention the mud, the rain, and whatever else the weather decides to throw at you. You need workwear that can keep up with the changing conditions, and True Work has you covered.
Most workwear is made from cotton blends, which restrict your movement and get soaked after just a few raindrops. True Work uses advanced performance fabrics to build products designed specifically for work on the job site. Springtime is the perfect season for the T2 Work Pant, which keeps you comfortable over a wide range of conditions. These pants have 4-way stretch for bending, kneeling, and climbing, a water-resistant finish to shed rain, and 9 intelligent pockets to keep tools just where you need them. They've been tested and validated for more than 10 years by real trade pros working in real job site conditions. With more than 15,000 5-star reviews, it's worth experiencing the difference for yourself.
You know what I love, dude? Look at these rain pants. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, those things look like they're good for anything. A night at the club, you look fashionable, breakdancing when it rains. I could wear that all the time.
The S1, what does it say? The Storm Cell, I think is what it's called.
Oh, it's fire,
You know what's
dude.
funny
Listen.
is I've taken these snowboarding, and I know they're like rainproof, and I was kind of sketchy about it. I'm like, dude, this is going to get me wet. Nope.
Dude, this guy never gets wet.
Yeah, you shouldn't be sketchy.
Ladies,
about
don't
True
hang
Work.
out
They're
with
the
them.
best.
Listen, the work doesn't stop just because the weather changes. Upgrade to T2 Work Pants and stay comfortable no matter what the day brings. Get 15% off your first order at truework.com with code TINFOIL. That's TRUEWERK.com, code TINFOIL. True Work, built like it matters, because it does. And we thank them for sponsoring the show.
Okay, so here we are. It's not a depiction of the upper celestial realms. What you're seeing is the underworld. Now, right here on the left, this is your demon. Yes, there is a demon in the underworld. His name is Nergal. He is the god of war, death, and destruction. He is your ultimate demon figure in the underworld. Now, why is he down there? Because they are balancing all of life. The balance of life comes from the underworld. That's why trees grow out of the ground. It's a fractal relationship of everything.
What do you mean by fractal?
So what I mean by fractal, and we're going to get into fractals, a fractal is a small version of something that just repeats itself bigger and bigger on a more grand scale. The ancients understood that everything in the universe, including within us, was a fractal of the micro or small to the macro or big. Everything was. Not only within us, as the 3 concepts of mind, body, and spirit, or Father, Son, Holy Ghost, which is an exact replica of the 3 doors. Now, like for instance, let's put those into this context for religion for people who studied it. Look at these 3 doors. Mind, body, and soul. Spirit, where would you put those?
Body is physical realm.
Mind would be celestial, like the mind of God.
Yeah.
Okay. Physical reality would be body, physical body, like in physical reality. Makes sense. And then spirit is underworld, meaning that our spirit and our soul ascension process is most likely has a relationship with the underworld, including all of our growth. And I'm going to go even a step further. We have been taught that most knowledge came from above. I actually believe that may not be true, and that most higher knowledge may have come from below. Now, if you are a church that wants to block all ascension and all knowledge from people having, so that you're then under the control of them, you would block off that source of knowledge and that source of freedom and sovereignty, and then turn it into an evil place. Damn. And that's exactly what they did. And so if you take this relief and you mirror the doors, it's the same thing. See, guys, there is no difference in the relationship. Remember, everything is repeated over and over and over again. It's relationship, meaning these 3 doors, put them right here. Nergal, a negative, dark god. See? Left door. That's his role. Enki, a positive, right? A positive god of knowledge and preservation. Right side. Middle door, 2 things. Not only physical reality, but the tree of life. You see that?
Yes.
Because here's what gets beautiful, is the tree of life is actually a metaphor for consciousness. Because I mentioned that human consciousness in our path is like a tree. It's like a tree. Once we root and ground, then we grow up and we ascend and grow leaves. It's like a tree. And that's why they're feeding the tree of life, because it's not just about the balance in reality and earth, but it's about the balance of everything. They're passing knowledge to reach this highest state of ascension and knowledge, because right above his head, I have another image that zooms out to show this. You'll see all these incredible symbolic aspects of our ascension and our growth. So this depiction right here is the underworld. Think about it.
Is there any of our modern day understanding of heaven and hell that applies to this?
Well, you mean for the 3 doors and this concept?
Meaning that, like, when we think of the underworld as hell and devil and all that stuff, like when you say he's the Lord of war and death and all that stuff, I mean, is there a negative connotation to that? Meaning that there is a dark side to that, or is it just a complete misunderstanding based on what modern religion has taught us?
No, it's a deception, and let me tell you why. The celestial higher realm above, that's not depicted here. The celestial higher realm has to mirror the underworld. So both realms, the celestial and the underworld, both metaphysical realms, have to have cycle masters that balance negative and positive above and negative positive below. So the same demon figure that is Nergal in the underworld is repeated in the celestial, and his name is Enlil, or Zeus. And he is the god of the Anuna that created the destruction during the Zayasudra flood to wipe out all of mankind. It's a celestial god that did all those horrible things. He is the eagle, the war eagle above.
So our understanding of heaven and hell is even wrong in terms of like location.
Completely. So imagine hell is a metaphysical celestial realm in which there is a positive and a negative ruling set of cycle masters. And then underworld, there is a positive and a negative roles of cycle masters down there too. So they're playing positive, negative above, positive, negative below, because all of life has to be balanced between life preserving and life dying, because that's the cycle of everything in the universe. You cannot have life without death. That's why the yin yang, darkness and light, always dance with each other, and light cannot exist without darkness.
So interesting. Very crazy.
So let's take that a step further, and let's go down, and I'll show you that and how beautiful they wanted to depict it. This is Vaughn. This is Sam's hood.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Vaughn, there are 3 amazing sites. We've talked about them a little bit. We're going to get back to them. Ayanis, Kefkalesi, where that big bas relief came from, right here that we're looking at. And then the underwater ruins that I'm showing. Now, each one of these sites represents a temple to each realm of reality. So stay with me here for a minute. It's beautiful. This is because it's like a model they left for us. And once you crack pieces, everything else falls into place if you understand these ancient concepts, in which I've studied, from esoteric mysticism all the way through ancient civilizations. They left this knowledge. We just had to understand it. And so look at this for a minute. The underwater ruins, a perfect circle. And we're going to get into each symbol as we go into this. Because in their understanding, the underworld was a circle because it was for life. So right here, take a look, Sam, on above each of their heads, from their knowledge, even the Nergal in the underworld as a demon, they still have a circle on their head for life, because they're playing the roles of balancing life, okay, in the underworld. So the circle was their way of depicting that. Now, in the underwater ruins, the ruins themselves are a perfect circle, which this is what's beautiful, is they created temples based on that relationship understanding. So give you an example, at Kefkalesi, which is on a mountain above the underwater ruins, they have a flower there, see, repeating, that are tetrahedrons. Now, tetrahedrons are based on the structure of physical reality. So they build a temple of blocks that are square, of a temple that has tetrahedron flowers in it to represent physical reality. So beautiful. And then Ayanis, a temple to the celestial higher realms, has a sunflower. So when I started to look at this, I was like, oh, how beautiful is that? And the underwater ruins are not just a circle in their construction, but the symbol itself, their flower, are seeds. If you look right here, I'm showing you they're seeds, six-spoked seeds of the flower of life. And again, it follows that concept of 3, 6, and 9 repeating. Each one of these flowers has 6 spokes. So we're following a pattern here. They're creating temples based on each realm of reality. So that's the first part I want to get at here. Now, as we go further into this, it starts to make sense. Is that take the T for a minute and imagine the reason why the T stem is so tall is because the middle door had to be the biggest, right?
Yeah.
And so the T represents the balance of all 3 of those realms of reality.
Wow.
So one is the structure of it, and then the other one is the understanding that the point of all of it is then finding balance and maintaining balance in all 3 of those realms of reality, right? So bringing heaven to earth, right? All that concept, the idea of mirroring, creating a synergy between heaven and earth. But in this case, also the underworld. So that's when you look at the idea of the left being the underworld duat and the right being celestial upper realms, you then start to really make sense with the T. Because now they're talking about creating structures and temples and locations in which they're not only honoring the structure of the universe through fractal form, but they're also creating the understanding that the purpose behind that is to maintain balance. And what I mean is they understood that the purpose of the universe is to reach balance, and us, that there is a higher purpose. And through balance, you must have deep knowledge and wisdom in order to do that. So now you can put all this together, Sam. So now you can bring all this home and look. Now you can start to see. He's standing on 2 guardian lions, guardians of the lower realm. Above him are eagle guardians, guarding the celestial. See that?
Yeah.
Above and below. Now, he's passing knowledge. They both are. They're seeding the tree of life in the center with 3 T's for balance of all 3 realms of reality. Now, notice there are 3 levels. See that? 1, 2, 3. These 3 levels represent the 3 realms of reality. And we know this is the underworld because look, physical reality is right here. So they're passing knowledge of the underworld, from the underworld, through the middle door only, Sam. See? They're not passing celestial knowledge or underworld knowledge. They're passing it from the underworld, but to physical reality. That's why they're pointing directly to the middle door only. And then look above it. you see this flowering that occurs. And see these spokes above, guys?
Yeah.
They're like spokes like the sun. There are exactly 7. Why? Because there are 7 colors in the visible light spectrum, light. And there are 7 primary chakras inside of us, meaning that we essentially, the path of ascension from all this knowledge, go from the underworld and grow like a tree to blossoming and basically finding the path of ascension back to source, back to where we began. It's like they're showing you the path of ascension here, basically. It's only like the most important artifact like known to man, in my opinion. So you can see all 3 of the trees. There are 3 trees that represent 3 each realm, see? But the middle one is physical reality. Everything is a symmetry. Everything is a mirror. Everything is all about balance. Now, I understood this from a basis of this. These look like concepts from ancient mysticism and esoteric traditions. These look like the basis of secret societies. I was aware of that, but I couldn't prove it until I came across the next levels of this. So we're going to go deep here, Sam. We're going to go down even deeper.
I'm in.
This is Ayanis in the background. Now, Ayanis is fascinating because you keep coming back over and over again to this place. Now, at Ayanis, there is an altar we talked about that sits right in the center of the temple. It's made out of golden calcite alabaster that for our understanding, or my understanding at least of studying it, may have come from 1,000 miles away. Because the type of golden calcite alabaster is not found anywhere in any quarries historically in the region. So this altar that I'm going to show right here, the altar itself has 2 symbols repeating over and over again on it. Only 2. So it's not the step pyramid and the T on the altar. There's something else. So the first thing you would wonder is, why isn't it the step pyramid, the T? Well, because they're trying to show something else. And I'm going to explain what that is. Now, on this is the altar. It's hard to see. What it shows are winged guardians all over it.
Oh, I see it.
This drawing on the left is the same thing. It's the altar, but drawn out so you can see it.
Yes, I see what you're showing. I see what you're saying.
Now, there are 3 guardians. I'm sure that it's not surprising, for each realm of reality. Okay? Each guardian is responsible for those realms of reality. So right here, I'm going to show you, this is God Haldi. So he is right here. God Haldi. And he is shown on this background as a guardian, as a winged guardian for physical reality. So this human-like figure with wings is in charge of guarding physical reality, and he's Enki Haldi. So we know that. And then you have a upper and lower guardian. So one guardian for the celestial realms, which in this case, see this, Sam, right here?
Oh, wow.
Look, what's the head on that look like?
Eagle.
What's that right there?
Eagle.
There you go. So then you can see, so this is a realm guardian for the celestial realms. And then the Haldi is a realm guardian for physical. One guardian left right here. It is a mixture of a lion and a dragon we call a griffin. And that is your guardian for the underworld. Each of these guardians are guarding only 2 things. If you look right here, you can actually, if you look here, Sam, you can see it well right there and right here. What I'm showing are candelabras. So you'll have levels of candles. Yeah. They're called candelabras.
As in the middle. So basically, if you're at home listening, there's 3 pictures on the screen. One is of a gold kind of cylinder, which has some pretty amazing stuff. How would I say it was? Carvings.
I'll explain that. Yeah.
And then on the far left, there is an amazing drawing of 3 different types of winged animals that are like a hybrid of different animals. And just like Matt described them, they fit the different guardians of the different realms. And then on the stone, we see engraved into the stone parts of what we see in the drawing.
Because the altar's broken. So it's broken into pieces. That's why I'm not showing the whole thing, because it's in pieces.
Right.
Now, here is where we need to be careful. These are not literal. There is not an eagle-looking guardian flying around guarding celestial. It's a symbol. That doesn't mean that energy of that guardian isn't real. That doesn't mean that there aren't real guardians there guarding it. This is how they depict that guardian. So it's how they show the guardian, so we understand it. This gold rod, the first thing is, I believe that these slid into the bottom of the altar at Ayanis. Number 1, it was found at Ayanis. Number 2, the holes in the altar fit the size of this. And so on this gold rod, Sam, look, it's the circle and the flame repeating over and over again.
Yep, so there it is.
Now on this, and from the altar, it's the flame and the circle repeating over and over again. That's all it is. It's the flame and the circle. That's what all of these guardians are. Of all locations on Earth, what I would consider Ayanis to be is the origin point of all this knowledge, and I do consider it to be one of the most sacred, if not the most sacred, temple and ancient site to me in the world, because it's where all this knowledge was first brought down or handed or brought up, you could say. What I mean by that is, this altar is very important because of all the most sacred places, the altar itself is even the most sacred thing within that space. So now we need to pay attention to what's on the altar. So if we recognize how important that is, then we now need to explore the circle and the flame.
Hey guys, I'm telling you this, they're printing our money into oblivion. It's not worth anything. Yeah, you got XYZ in the bank. That's not XYZ of 10 years ago. If you want to solidify your money, there's no better place than precious metals, and there's no better place to buy your precious metals than our good friends at Wolf Pack Gold. That's right, Wolf Pack Gold, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. Let me tell you about them. If you're paying attention, you know that de-dollarization is real. Fiat is fake, and you don't want to be left holding the bag when the dollar collapses. Gold and silver has been money through all of recorded history and are an excellent way to protect yourself from inflation and geopolitical turmoil. That's why I trust my friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver for all things precious metal. Veteran owned and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. No transaction is too big or too small, and you can even roll over your 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver. And if you think you can't afford precious metals, think again. With the Wolf Pack monthly membership program, you can get gold and silver delivered directly to your door for as little as $50 a month. Wise Wolf Gold and Silver also deals in and accepts Bitcoin. So go to samtripoli.gold, promo code tinfoil at checkout to receive free constitutional silver. And remember, in the world of bulls and bears, be the wolf.
Now, let's look at this for a minute. In the background, you see Ayanis, and everything is a winged god, and all the symbols are solar symbols, because Ayanis was a temple to the celestial realms. And we know that because there is a flame right here, the same flame symbol on the altar, right there, and there's a spoke like on a sun. But there are no circles, not the sun circle though, but there are no circles independently. Why? So if the altar has a symmetry component, meaning you have to match it up. The altar contains 2 symbols, but this temple is only 1.
Whoa.
Because there was originally 2 Susi temples. This one that's remaining in the background, Ayanis, is the only one that survived. I'm convinced without a doubt and have proof based on the pillar system that surrounds nothing right now at that site, is that there was once another Susi temple. And if you could imagine inside, instead, because that's how the blueprint in this model works. Everything has to fit into into this idea of what they laid down based on a shared knowledge system. Now, that means that if the other Susi temples still existed, that instead of all these flames everywhere, it would have been circles, because it would have been a temple to the underworld.
I gotcha.
And I don't even just mean in honor of the underworld, but these may have actually been technological ways to go between realms.
Oh my
God. And it makes more sense when you think about it that the Urartians converted Haldi into a solar storm god and then dismantled the underworld. Various different reasons they may have done that. But I have talked about in shows before how I would love someday if we would get past our misunderstandings of it and be able to use this knowledge and how it's built and how this works to rebuild it again. That temple, that gateway to that once allowed above and below to exist. Now, I don't want to go too far on that tangent for a minute because I want to get back to this. So they understood that the underworld, the circle and the flame are the most important thing that exists. But why? Well, this is where it was one of the most important things I ever connected in my life. This is really significant, Sam. And everybody listening in the audience, this connects a knowledge system that is extremely significant for humanity, in my opinion, like pivotal. Because it's one thing to prove a lost civilization chapter existed in which they have knowledge and understanding and technologies in certain ways. But it's another thing to find the origins of what could be the most important knowledge of who we are and what our purpose is and what everything, the answers to the most important questions basically that have ever been asked in history. Now, what I mean by that is this. There's a passage here that I'm going to read for everybody online. The passage in the center comes from Hermeticism, specifically Hermetica, with a conversation with Poimander and Hermes. Now, Poimander is a dragon. It's the celestial dragon of the universe. There's your dragon concept. To weave back in to Kukulkan and Viracocha and the whole dragon gods pantheon in the Americas, okay? So in these ancient, esoteric, mysterious texts that go way back to Hermetic knowledge, which is the knowledge of Hermes from ancient Greece, you have this section of it that I became obsessed with. And so I've studied Hermeticism for at least 5 years. And it's been very important to me because I realized that it seemed to incorporate every knowledge system around the world, including ancient Hinduism and Buddhist teachings with ancient Mayan teachings and indigenous teachings and Gnostic teachings and pre-Hebrew teachings. All of it seemed to come back, and Egypt teachings too, to this one place. So I became kind of obsessed with it. And I would read it all the time. And this passage kept coming up over and over again. And I became enamored by it. And I used to talk about it. So I'm going to read it. We're going to get into why it's so significant, in my opinion. If you were to imagine someone had a Bible and they said, okay, this is the most important passage in the Bible that sums everything up. That's what this would be for Hermeticism, is a core concept of knowledge that is at the highest level of everything. The highest level, like the highest level of importance. So let me read it. It says, "Then Hermes asked how the righteous and wise pass to God, to which Poimander replied, that which the word of God said, because the Father of all things," right? Father, Son, Holy Ghost, "because the Father of all things consists of life and light, whereof man is made. If therefore a man shall learn and understand the nature of life and light, then he shall pass into eternity of life and light." What he's saying is Hermes wants to understand the nature of mankind, humanity. What are we? What are we a part of? What is our purpose? What does our existence here mean? And then he also says, I also want to know the nature of God. In which Poimander, the god, the dragon, celestial dragon, says the nature of God and the nature of man is the same. That right there is profound, first of all. But the second thing, considering how humanity views itself as nothing and insignificant, and what we've done to our world and each other, but more importantly, the nature of both are two things: life and light. Now, this is another candelabra, an ivory candelabra that came from another site in Turkey that's related with a Susi temple called Altan Tepe. And here's that gold rod. And then we had the altar. Everything repeats two symbols.
Whoa,
the flame,
those are two different rods.
Well, no, there's only one rod. I'm showing them twice. So they're repeating two concepts over and over and over again: the circle and the flame. Well, think about it for a minute. What is the flame? Go back to religion, the Trinity: Father, Son, Holy Ghost, and holy flame. What is the holy flame? Light, but celestial light, which is why, look, guys, wait, here. No, sorry, apologies, here. Seven spokes at the top, light. See? Circle at the bottom, life. They're passing all the knowledge of everything to us. Life and light, but in this case, instead of showing seven spokes to show the holy flame, you show an actual flame. You show an actual flame, which is the holy flame of light, of the celestial realms. Why? Because the celestial realms are non-physical. So light is a physical thing, right? The seven colors of the visible light spectrum we observe because it's in a physical reality. It's through the spectrum of physical reality that we can observe those phenomena. But light doesn't exist in the celestial realm, which is why it's not just traditional light, like spokes on the light, like a rainbow. It's a flame because it's a metaphysical flame that basically represents the light of God or source, which is what we have inside of us. Now, why is this so important? Because it means that the most important ancient knowledge system in the world that was completely banished and destroyed by the church, we can prove it goes back to the oldest systems of understanding of us. The very beginning origins of knowledge itself. These concepts were woven into it. So we can prove Hermeticism through not only these two symbols, but every single concept of this is Hermeticism. As above, so below; as within, so without. Above, balancing the below, the negative, the positive, and we'll get into Hermeticism in a minute, and you'll see all of that. It means that we're finding a lost knowledge system of everything. So let's get into what all this means. What is Hermeticism? Hermeticism is based on the teachings of Hermes. Hermes is the Greek teacher equivalent of Thoth in ancient Egypt. Basically equivalent of Enki. Same thing. Equivalent of Viracocha, Kukulkan. Okay? All of those are the same thing repeated all over the world. Everywhere. They're knowledge bringers. Their purpose is to emerge during times of destruction to make sure that the me's of divine knowledge are brought back to humanity so that they are not lost forever. Because terrible things happen when they're lost forever. And you'll see that as we go along. But now you can look at this and imagine two snakes of energy, dark and light, within us. Like our spine, weaving up through ascension and kundalini to have wings at the top. They're showing you the same thing, the same path, and they're all passing that knowledge, which is what Hermeticism is. It's based on the oldest knowledge systems on Earth, and it's the core of all philosophies and everything that came after. So we'll get into a little bit about what they are. Hermes and Thoth are knowledge bringers of all of ancient history. They're the ones who brought these concepts and incorporated into every ancient culture that revered them for that knowledge. And they then brought that knowledge and seeded it like the pine cone and seeded it into every civilization to then allow that civilization to flourish, which ultimately often those civilizations would become inverted and destroy the knowledge that once was and become like war empires of themselves. That's why the Aztec and Maya did all kinds of horrible blood sacrifice and did all these evil things because there was a corruption of this knowledge, right? The eagle and the serpent, the battle of above and below, and these like hidden wars and struggles between information and knowledge, dark and light. They battle all throughout history, and basically this knowledge was stamped out, and we're going to go into the history of it.
But you think it's passed down in secret societies?
Yes. Whoa. And it was then blocked off from most of the world. So I want to read, let me move this out of the way so I can read this. I want to read for everybody listening online what Hermeticism is so they understand it. So Hermeticism is a philosophical tradition concerned with the underlying order of reality itself. It teaches that the universe operates according to consistent principles that link mind, nature, and the cosmos, and that these principles can be understood through symbolism, geometry, and observation, rather than belief or doctrine. It's a system of universal principles that govern all of reality. So we have to understand the ancient understanding of this, and we need to remodel our entire understanding of reality because of this, in my opinion, and we will in the future, is that we actually live in a very antiquated understanding of the universe. We try to look at it through telescopes to see things that are separate, like dark energy and dark matter and this and this and this, without realizing that the ancients had already mastered everything. We're actually just trying to catch up, which is part of the problem, is that the ego of humanity now doesn't want to admit even the concept or idea that we were a lot smarter and had a lot more wisdom back in antiquity than we do actually now. And that we're actually quite a shadow of our former self from what we once were, because they understood this, that reality is ordered, intelligent, and interconnected. It's not separate. We're not living in an anthill where we're battling and fighting over an infinite universe that we don't matter. That's not how they saw it. They saw that what's happening here is happening out there, and what's happening within us is happening outside. There is no separation according to their understanding of the universe and mankind. And they talked about how they wanted to emphasize that the harmony between consciousness, nature, and the cosmos is essential, and that they encoded that knowledge into temple layouts, sacred text, and in geometry. So does that make sense, Sam?
Yes.
So here are the principles for everybody to understand. This is how esoteric ancient traditions, if people are sitting here listening to this and they go, what did secret societies and mystery schools know? This is what it is, essentially. This is all of that knowledge, but brought back to what I believe is the origin of this lost civilization as the purpose behind what mattered the most to them. So think about what matters the most to us today, Sam. Sex appeal, materialism.
Yes.
Money and flexing huge yachts and boats and pop stars and rock stars. None of that mattered to them. They didn't care about all those things were irrelevant. To them, the only thing that mattered was higher knowledge and balance and understanding. They considered the body to be a temple, as within, so without, and that the temple can be balanced and that the society around can also mirror that balance, and you can create like a utopia. But not only that, you can create like a synergy with the heavens. And we're going to get into that as we go here. Now, these are what are called the 7 Hermetic principles. And I'll go through them. 7, like the 7 laws, like the 7 colors of visible light spectrum. These are the laws that govern everything in the universe, according to these ancient traditions. Welcome to the real reality. So they viewed the universe as a giant tree. There's that tree of life metaphor. That the underworld was the roots, that the stem of the tree, the middle part, was physical reality, and the leaves were the celestial. And it was actually a model, a fractal model of how everything worked, including within us. Remember, 3 parts. Now, here are the 7 rules to remember. The first, and again, some people that are listening to this that have gone through certain agendas and certain, we'll call it misinformation that has attacked this in the last 5 to 10 years. and I don't want to go too far down that road, but I'll just mention these are the constants of the universe. So we can get past some of our what you call woke agenda talk when we can actually get through the real principles of the universe. First thing, the principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is purely mental. What does that mean? It means that when you tap into your highest self, you turn this body into a temple. You turn into like an antenna, because you obtain a certain frequency that just dials into the source field of the universe. That's all it is. The entire universe, according to them, is a giant source field of consciousness, which is why, Sam, when people take DMT, and I haven't, but when people take high levels of DMT ayahuasca, they see sacred geometry everywhere, because they're looking at the source code of the universe. Meaning that the universe is just a giant source field of God, of mentalism, and that we're just tapping into that knowledge, and that's really what it is. The second principle, the principle of correspondence. This is the one most people have heard of. Very important. As above, so below. As within, so without. Also, that concept, above, below, within, without. That's called the principle of correspondence. Super important. Third, the principle of vibration. Everything or nothing rests, it says. Nothing rests. Everything moves, everything vibrates. Mm-hmm. There's no such thing as something being static. You're sitting on your chair, on your desk, everything just has a certain frequency vibration.
Yes.
The fourth thing, the principle of polarity. Remember, yin yang, dark and light. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites, right? Enki in the underworld with Nergal. Enlil above with Marduk. Positive, negative, positive, negative. Dark, light, everything. That's the way everything is structured. Okay, next, number 5, the principle of rhythm. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left, and rhythm compensates. Everything is based on a rhythm in cycles, okay? Number 6, the principle of cause and effect. These are the rules of the universe. Everything has cause and effect. Okay, so every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. So if Sam does something, energetically, he's going to get an equal and opposite reaction back. The universe is a giant mirror. What you put out, you get back.
Yes.
You want to make money, you put out abundance.
Yes.
You want to project a certain version of yourself, you have to be that. You have to vibrate that, not pretend you are. The universe looks right through bullshit.
Yes.
Can't trick it. You haven't gone through your shadow work. You still got all these traumas you're dealing with. You want to ascend? Nice try. Go work on your roots and your shadow work first before you can grow. Now, number 7, the last one, the principle of gender. This one has been really, really affected lately.
Yes.
And it's really sad to see.
Yes.
Divine masculine, divine feminine are constants in the universe. Period, guys. Period. Okay? So number 7, the law is the principles of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes, meaning that ancient archetypal understandings of divine masculine and divine feminine are there for a reason. It does not mean we've always followed them in a balanced way. I understand that. But we need to return that balance. There's a reason why feminine energy has to have a certain kind of understanding and then masculine energy does. There's a reason, because it's ancient. So we're just gonna keep expanding on this, guys. There's the triptych within us, the 3. We are not separate from the universe. It's the same thing. You could think of them as the 3 doors in us, the 3 flowers. Within us is the same structure as the universe, right? So religion calls it Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. What we want to call it in modern terms, if you were talking about more like energy, we would call it the mind, the body, and the spirit. And right at the center of those is awareness in Christ consciousness.
That's so
right at the center. So we're just going to finish this up here to conclude here, just this part anyway. Is all of this, what is it based on? It's based on natural law. That's what Hermeticism and this knowledge is. It's natural law of the universe, meaning that these are laws and constants. They're not belief systems. They're not something someone made up. It's literally the laws of the universe. And it's based on, I'll read this for everybody listening online, natural law refers to the inherent principles that govern nature and reality, independent of human authority or belief. These laws are not created but discovered, revealed through pattern, proportion, cause and effect, and they're observable throughout the natural world. And wait till you get to see how all of these are displayed in the universe and within us. So all of these concepts that we just went through are all embedded in everything in the universe. Okay, so let me show you an example. We're told that we're not a part of all, and we're just sort of insignificant nothing. Flip that whole thing around. What if we're actually on the stage of the entire universe itself? That's what our existence is, and everything else is supporting that. We're like the spotlight of the universe is on this path of us losing our way, becoming so disconnected as far as possible from spirit, and then finding our way back. Giant circle and cycle. Because look at how it works. A lung inside us looks just like a tree. Our veins look just like river systems. A nebula looks just like a human eye. The death of a star mirrors the birth of a cell. Our brain cells look like the universe if you zoom out. Because that pattern within us, and this is what we've been tricked into believing, is that we are the microcosmic relationship. We are the microcosmic representation of the macrocosm of the entire universe within us. And so fractal geometry, this is what all of it is, and we'll get into what that means, is that fractal geometry, which is what they were embedding and creating everywhere, it describes that there are patterns in nature that repeat at different scales, so that the structure of the whole is reflected on all of its parts. So that rather than thinking that it's linear or isolated forms, fractals reveal that a universe is built on self-similarity, recursion, and nested order. Okay? And that everything is based on that relationship. So we see that pattern everywhere. That's why a blood cell looks like a river system, because it's all connected. And the ancients understood all of this. Whoa. And they encoded that knowledge system into all of these structures, because before they were destroyed, they understood that if you didn't have this knowledge, what would humanity become? And we'll get there in a minute here. Now, here's another example of fractal geometry. On the left side, I'm showing in Cambodia a single stone monolith that's designed to be a 3-level step, like a pyramid, with a door at the bottom. You see this? There's a door right here.
I see that. Somewhat of a T. Somewhat, yeah.
And right behind it is called Bapwan. Huge temple that is the exact same design as this. When I found this, I was like, what is going on? They're making fractal miniature representations of the structure of the universe into a fractal form of a small monolith, and then creating giant temples to be larger and larger versions of that same concept. That's why they all have the shapes they do. That's why they all have these geometry and these levels. They're creating this fractal relationship of smaller to bigger and bigger, and then designing the temples into that. They were so far beyond us. It's actually pretty mind-blowing. Here's another example. That's why a hurricane looks like a galaxy and looks like a shell. And a pine cone mirrors the same sacred geometry that goes across all scales, like our human foot, our fingerprint. Okay, so are you ready, Sam, to get into what happened to this?
Yes, I cannot wait.
But what happened to all this knowledge?
Ready? Yeah, of course.
I'm so excited.
So what happened to all this knowledge? If we had the knowledge of everything, what happened? Well, remember Gilgamesh brought it back and lost it. It was embedded into certain secret societies in which they figured it out, but they ended up using it for bad reasons.
Yes.
If you know how everything works and you know how we work, well, you can do the opposite, can't you?
Yes.
That's exactly what they did. So let's talk about the sad story of Hermeticism and all of this knowledge and what happened to it. So here we have your friend Da Vinci on the right. This is a beautiful story and a sad story for those who don't know it. In the mid-1400s, so 15th century, specifically 1453, Constantinople is a city that is in Western Turkey. It's today Istanbul. It was the center of the ancient world. And Hermeticism was still being practiced widely around it. But at the same time, Christianity was rising out from that area, and you no longer could really freely practice Hermeticism. Christianity, even though it had roots in early Hermeticism, wanted to break away from that entirely. They saw Hermeticism as a huge threat to Christianity. And so the Christian church rises, and anyone who's practicing Hermeticism and these old knowledge, they all migrate to one place in the world, which is remarkable to think about. Hundreds, if not thousands of them, all go to one single place. They go to Florence, Italy. So 1453, they go to Florence, Italy, and they bring with them all of the knowledge of Hermeticism. So there, who starts studying Hermeticism? Da Vinci. Da Vinci joins secret societies and he learns all of this knowledge. So it then leads to the greatest renaissance in all of history, when all the poetry, all of the incredible cathedrals are built that understand sound and acoustics that are being falsely blamed on a psyop called Tartaria. That's not real.
Whoa, shots fired, shots fired.
I had to throw that one out there. This is from these time periods of when they understood sacred geometry, acoustics, and harmonics, and were building all of these incredible cathedrals and places. It led to a blossoming in humanity of art, poetry, knowledge, philosophy that was on a scale that had potentially never been seen. That's why the Renaissance is talked about as when all those things were painted and created, like the Last Supper. You ready? Mm-hmm. The entire table is a giant T. First.
Oh. Look what's behind Jesus, Johnny.
Behind Jesus.
Doors.
3 doors, with the middle door being the largest.
Whoa, dude. Johnny's scared right now.
Very cool.
Well, because he knows very well that Christianity is becoming increasingly more powerful, and he is very worried about that knowledge. And like Plato, he very cleverly adopts it into these paintings. Now, what does the Vitruvian Man also look like if you take his arms and put it across and then put a line down? It looks like a T, doesn't it? See that?
Oh.
Man is the microcosm, macrocosm relationship of it all. And that's why this depiction is painted, because Jesus, a great sage, just like many other sages who have come, no, he's not the only sage. Buddha, there's been many others, Krishna, they're just great sages of their age. He's passing this knowledge. That's what it is. The original teachings of Jesus before the church converted a lot of them and rewrote them is just this same knowledge. That's all it is. Same thing. So he's passing that knowledge, and that's why it's being depicted there. So what happens? Well, the church doesn't like this too much at all. It's watching what's happening in Florence, Italy, and it's not happy. This is a movement that needs to be stamped out. So they hire a man named Isaac Casaubon, probably one of the most evil men in history that no one's ever heard of. Isaac Casaubon, born in 1559, he sees this movement's going on. He's an expert in antiquities. So the church hires him to discredit the Hermetic teachings by him going to study the Hermetica itself, the version that everybody's reading. And he's very clever. He takes the ink and he studies the pages, and he determines that the version they're reading instead of being older than the teachings of Moses, which it had superseded the teachings of Moses, that's why the Christian church could not destroy it. They needed it to be younger than the teachings of Moses so that the teachings of Moses could supersede it. Then they could destroy it. So they hire Isaac Casaubon. They say, Isaac, we need you to tell us how old this really is. So instead of dating the knowledge of Hermeticism, he dates the current manuscript to the scribes of Alexandria in like 1,200 years ago. And the teachings of Moses are like 3,200 years ago. So he's trying to say that the scribes of Alexandria created Hermeticism and that's where it was born. Okay, out of that. Completely hiding and inverting that the knowledge had been rewritten by civilizations like the Greeks and the Egyptians over and over again for thousands and thousands of years, and that the version they're reading was simply the most latest translated and latest version. So what happens? The same year that Isaac Casaubon discredits the Hermetica and the church makes it illegal, he dies of natural causes. That's an omen right there. You mess with something sacred, he dies, not from murder. He literally died the same year that he discredits the Hermetica. I don't think that's coincidence. Look, so what happens? Hermeticism becomes illegal. Any woman that's practicing Hermeticism is called a witch. Anyone who's practicing Hermeticism, a druid or a pagan. Remember St. Patrick's Day?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're ridding St. Patrick's Day. They're ridding Hermeticism. It's the same thing. Same thing. They go on a crusade around the world. Thousands potentially lose their lives, are burned at the stake. Anybody who's practicing Hermeticism is basically killed, ostracized. Again, it's especially bad on women, because any women who were practicing herbal things, astrology, Hermeticism, which is what all that is, were considered witches and then were burned at the stake. You then saw the emergence of evil take over the world and destroys the one thing that could save us. Think about that for a minute. So what happens? Look, this is what happens to our world. Without Hermeticism, without this ancient knowledge, we become disconnected to everything. We have no understanding of what our role is with Earth, the universe, what our responsibilities here are with the planet. With religion turns into armies, battling over ideologies and ideas. Humanity becomes enchained, enslaved in their own ideas. And we go down the darkest period in human history, all because we lost that knowledge. So just to summarize this, because we won't have time for dating today, but just to getting to the end of this, we have to remember who we were so that we can understand who we are now. And all of these ancient civilizations, all of this knowledge, this is how I like to equate it, Sam.
Yeah.
Our reality in our existence here is like a game. It's like a simulation. There are rules on how to ascend. Just like a game. You level up, you ascend. That game has been hijacked. And the rules are now completely out of whack, where the original game has been lost. Now, what I equate all of this knowledge to, the code around the world, how it's embedded, what that knowledge system is it's like the walkthrough guide for that game. And you remember walkthrough guides when you were a kid? Right? When games first came out and they were really hard, people would go to the store and buy a book that was a walkthrough guide. It told them how to get through each level. Remember?
Yep.
Our current world, those who are deceptive, I believe that they thought that walkthrough guide was lost. And that's why it's so incredible that this ancient civilization left it behind for us, so that we can not only find our way back, but that we can regain balance for this entire world once again. Because that's what this is. And the slide I have on here just basically talks about how this knowledge system is basically the highest level of knowledge that they understood over longer time than we've existed here, in which they mastered their understanding of the universe and created the most incredible structures that I believe were like technologies to the stars. technologies to other realms, that we were like gods, and that we've lost our way and forgotten, and we're diminished to the point where we no longer remember basically anything.
Wow.
So
let me ask you something.
Yeah.
There are parts of organized religion such as angels and demons, fallen angels, all that stuff. What are your thoughts on any of that?
the Anuna that I just showed are just playing those roles. That's all. That's what they do. That's what they are. Angels and demons are just whether or not you're talking about a positive or a negative god, because they're playing duality. Duality is dark and light. So they're each playing those roles and responsibilities. But what they're not telling us is that there's an angel in the underworld. There's angels in the underworld and angels in the celestial. And there's demons in the underworld and demons in the celestial. They're in both.
So, and Johnny, as the guy who went to church his whole life, any
I
thoughts?
slept through a lot of church, I have to say.
So does that make sense, though? Like,
No,
does that?
listen, what you're saying to me is I have been thinking a lot about. And, you know, again, when we have these conversations, I like to remind the listeners and the viewers that this is not an attack on your belief system. This is, again, you're going to believe what you want to believe, and we respect that here on the show. We have these conversations. I've always said this forever. We live in a very mystical universe, and it's energy and vibration, all that stuff. And when people look at, like, let's say manifestation or something like that as some kind of like demonic thing, that doesn't resonate with me. Like, I've seen it happen in my own life, and people try to say that's a trick and stuff like that. That does not resonate with me. Again, please don't understand. We've had many discussions on many things. Very pro-Christian. We've had Muslims on. Have been on. Everyone's been on. So we are open-minded to it all. But a lot of this does resonate with me.
Well, can I just make a quick comment on that? Is that, look, I'm not trying to destroy all religions. I'm trying to bring back the purity of what they all shared.
Yes, I do agree with that.
Strongly. Every single religion on earth has a core to it that shares similarities. In the end of the day, those similarities are being a good person, treating other people well, doing good. Like, there's a lot more than just that, obviously. But the core of a lot of those things just carry over to all of this. And the end of the day, I'm not trying to say that one thing is wrong and one thing is another. That question is irrelevant. I'm pointing towards the origin, what I believe is the oldest knowledge system of everything that exists, in which we can finally peer back the layers of deception that have unfortunately been used to control us and get back to the core of what matters. Remember, even in Christianity itself, with the teachings of Jesus or Yeshua, he says that the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's never been about following a church. So just be careful with how a lot of good can be embedded in those religions, but then other deceptions are mixed in. And we need to try to be objective about that and understand, at the end of the day, it's about following the path that most resonates within.
I love hearing all of it, dude. I love it. Any thoughts, guys? I know
There's always been a tension, right, especially in the West, between whether you view the deity as all powerful, or if you view you find the divine within yourself. You know, it's always, the people that will say, well, you're trying to be your own God, and I think that's the tension here boils down to. Is kind of that split. But
why do you need a mediary? The whole point is, like, why do we actually need a mediary to reach God? That's the whole reason why organized religion became controlling, is that they wanted to create a necessity of a mediary so that you can't reach it yourself.
Yes. I believe in the teachings of Jesus. But I do believe that I've always felt this, is that what Jesus did was come down and basically teach us to understand how to operate in this realm of energy. But
he also said, no man comes to the Father but by me. So,
well, that's why I'm
Those are things that were rewritten, guys. There's a core set of teachings here to be very careful that he said. He emphasized strongly that the kingdom of heaven is found within, that you have to be your own savior. Those other things that came later, like through the Council of Nicaea, adding all those different things, I think those are forms of control.
I find it interesting.
Hey, Matt, what do you think about Tartaria? It's on maps, it's on a lot of...
Or is it a name? Do you think it's real, but the name has been changed to hide?
No, I think that they took old maps that had that name on there and tried to pretend it's an entire lost chapter that exists for one reason only. To create a psyop in which you believe that was a lost chapter of our history, to muddy the waters and confuse the real lost chapter that existed. Because, look, I understand that architecture and knowledge was greatly lost and that it looks like a huge mismatch, because it is. But that's the nature of architecture and knowledge in this system we've lived in, where our world has pretty much stamped out that understanding. And that, look, we have very, very good records of the 1800s, the 1700s. Sorry, but it's not a lost chapter.
I totally agree. Thank you. Jeez.
What is lost, though, is that understanding in masonry and understanding of why we built those churches and architecture the way we did. We lost our understanding of acoustics, vibration, sound. We forgot all those things and why they were important. So don't confuse, be careful. There are psyops, all kinds of psyops, that their intention is there to try to throw us off track and make us look ridiculous. And so what we need to do, remember this, guys, do your own research, use your intuition, be objective, go figure out what's real and what maybe is a deception.
Interesting.
I love that. Because, I mean, there's a certain...
And just think about what he said, Johnny, too. Like, do your own research and how they've taken that and demonized that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you do your own research? You're like, yeah. I mean,
I said that to
as
you.
Jimmy
Literally
Dore,
that, right?
As Jimmy Dore literally says, yeah, we called that reading back in the day.
But there's so many people who will tell you that we have no history of what happened in the 1800s or the 1700s, who haven't even attempted to go look at primary sources
That's the whole point.
Absolutely exist.
They take something for face value and they don't actually research it.
Yeah.
And I look, that's unfortunately a huge percentage of people. And the thing is, if you do that, you will always be misled all over the place, no matter what.
And
the way
will seem baffling.
Truth is felt. Truth is felt through your own research, your lived experiences, study. You need to read. You need to spend time understanding ancient knowledge, understanding symbolism, understanding like the values of what mattered most. And and I say this is that go in still with an appreciation of a core of teachings that are in religion, but don't get lost in it.
Yeah, what is the core?
The core are these core concepts and teachings that we are inherently good, that we are from above, that we have a higher purpose, that we're supposed to be good to ourselves and others. We're supposed to do good. We're supposed to be good to thy neighbor and live a good life. And there's all these core principles. They're part of what's woven in that, right? To find that higher path within, like Jesus said, the kingdom within. Those are all core principles that are carried across everything pretty much.
Okay, final question. So in recovery, there's a discussion of almost, well, I don't know if this is in recovery. Maybe I applied it to that, but this notion of I mean, and I know they talked about it in the serial killer show where he kills all the people that murder people, Dexter. But the dark passenger, the light and the dark.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the purpose of the dark is? If you have light and you have dark, what is the purpose of the dark?
Each one of us provides a fundamental part of who we are. And so it's been considered through ancient esoteric traditions that the dark, once it's wielded and understood, becomes our greatest source of power. And they equate it almost to having like a dog on a leash. Okay, that's how a lot of esoteric ancient traditions, they describe our darkness as being something that we need to get a hold of and be in control of, not have it be in control of us. And then understand that we can never extinguish darkness from within us because it's a fundamental part of who we are.
I agree with that. And I think that's a big part of the war of psychology right now, where they want you to believe you can get rid of your darkness.
You never can. Because remember, yin yang, it's like a fish and another fish swirling around each other. If light consumes darkness, then light can't even exist. That's why within each top and bottom, there's a circle of black within the white, and then a circle of white within the black. They cannot exist without each other. Remember the principles of Hermeticism is duality is one of the principles, darkness and light. It's an essential principle of the universe. That's why the Anuna play roles of positive and negative. We are the same within us. You can never extinguish all darkness from existing in you, but you can realize that you are not made up of only darkness, that you are light, but that darkness is a part of you. And then once you balance those and realize that the darkness within you is actually a great strength, if it's harnessed and balanced, you realize that it's all playing a part. It's all playing roles within us that we need. Darkness is like that fierceness, right? That fire. That's that fire that you can maintain and hold to go do great things. It comes from that wielding of our darkness. That's where it comes from.
It's going to be crazy, but I literally think that's Bruce Banner and the Incredible Hulk. Like, when you're watching a movie and they're like, we need the Hulk, dude. Bring on the fucking Hulk. That's your, I talk about that and I will let you go here in a second, Matt. But it's like when I was deep in my drug abuse, I always talk about how I needed that guy to survive what I was going through because like my career was in shambles. I couldn't go anywhere. And if I didn't have that guy that kind of carried me through that darkness, I probably wouldn't have survived, right? So it's like, and then you get to that point where you're like, okay, we've gotten through that. Now it's time to return to the light and work on the positive energy shit. You know what I'm saying? I always say it's like you're never going to get rid of that darkness, dude, ever. It's like it's part of you and it's there when you need it to kind of power through these, even maybe like in your house gets broken into, right? And you got to fight to survive. You need that dark side to fucking come out and just go primal on some motherfuckers.
That's it. You let out that vicious dog.
Yeah.
But the thing is that remember, you must be in control of your darkness.
Yes.
It can't be in control of you. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yes.
This that is unhinged, that controls you, will make you do bad things.
If you don't control it. Yes.
But at the same time, I want to add one more layer. Someone who is like of the light only and doesn't do any shadow work, they're never going to be able to advance. Unless you look into your darkness and you delve into your darkness, you will never be able to ascend to a higher level, ever.
I agree. Matt, absolutely amazing episode. Too bad you're already on Mount Crushmore, but they couldn't nominate you again. You can't be put on twice. One more time, Matt, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, please check out thestageoftime.com, my website, where you can also, of course, sign up for the tour that Sam's going to be joining this year.
I can't wait.
Region to go find this lost history that's still in the Wild West of archaeology here. And of course, check out my YouTube, Matthew LaCroix, and I am actually finishing right now the audiobook for the Missing Key. So get ready for that coming, guys. I just want to say I appreciate everybody that follows me and supports my work. I like to say that the work has actually just begun.
Well, Matt, you're crushing it. Really interesting stuff. Really resonates with me. Hope everybody enjoyed it. It was a great episode. We appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much, buddy. And let's break down the episode. All right, guys. What'd you think of Matt LaCroix Part 2?
Woo, Part 2, baby.
I always found that I just find that stuff so interesting.
Had to do it. I had to have a.
I don't like, attacking certain religions. Especially Christianity. I'm very sensitive about that. And I'm not saying Matt did that. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying in the past when we had to do the disclaimers and shit like that, but I do think that religion can get co-opted. And, he's totally right about St. Patty's Day and St. Peter. It was all about taking out the pagans. Was it about the Hermetic principles? I don't know. I find it interesting. What are your guys' thoughts are?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I've never... when I was a kid, I used to take those things like to heart, and they used to disturb me. But now it's just like, it's a big world, man. There's a lot of things that can be true.
There's a lot of things that can be true all at the same time, right?
That too, yeah. I think you just have to suss it out for yourself. You have to decide what works for you at some point. You know what I mean?
It's like back to his first appearance last time, not this very first one, but the part 1, when he goes, there's these advanced civilizations, but also there were tribal people. I think people think there has to be one or the other, and he's totally right. We have New York City and the Yamamama of South America, right? Like you have both those things coexisting at the same time.
Yeah. And then, I remember there were these people that came and ran the youth group at my church when I was a kid, and they were like too radical for my church, and they eventually got kind of run off. But I really liked them. We all became friends, and the thing they said was that the doors of the church have room for your head and your heart. Like you can, like that's it. You got to be able to intellectual this. There are people who say that it should only be a kind of a feel thing, but to me, a faith that you can't intellectualize also is not good either. You know what I mean? I think a real something that is true bears or it stands up under scrutiny.
I totally agree with that too. And it gets into anything, your conspiracies, whatever your dogma is, right? Yeah. Like if you can't just discuss it and be open-minded that maybe there's more to it, I think you're captured.
And you apply that to anything. Anybody who gets a little emotional when you maybe suggest that they're wrong about something.
Who are you talking about?
I can't imagine.
Are you talking about me?
No, he's looking at me. He's specifically looking at me, even though it looks like he's looking at you.
Even though you're talking about me, give me an example, Johnny.
The Netanyahu is dead thing.
I still think he's dead.
You got really emotional about it.
I think he's really dead.
You got really angry about that.
Still think he's dead. No, Johnny. Okay.
No,
you want to relive that? Do you want to relive that? Why I'm saying that?
I just think it's like, hey, like try on an idea, but don't make it your identity. You know what I mean?
No, I think you should always keep your head in a swivel at all times. You shouldn't be locked into this is the only way. Like, we've been talking about Kabbalah, and I've had a bunch of friends tell me it's not that.
Yeah.
Wait, it's not which one?
It's not this evil thing that's trying to destroy humanity.
Maybe not to them. What did they say about it?
I had one friend tell me it's the exact opposite. So I don't know what it is. But again, like you could have an idea, like you can have a hammer, right? And you could be like, this, I could be like, this is used to kill people. But you're like, oh, actually it's used to build houses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like Scientology, right? The people at the bottom just living their lives. It works for them.
It's great. Up.
It's great. But think about it. It's just like probably Kabbalah. The people who the everyday people who practice Scientology and got networking because of it, maybe got a few gigs. It's been great for them, dude. And the people at the top who are ruining people's lives for leaving the church and shit, not so much. You know what I mean? They're the evil fucks.
They're the extremists.
And most
Every
people don't know
group
about
has extremists. You know, I don't know. Does the Chabad Lubitz guys, do they practice Kabbalah, or are they practicing like?
I think they're Orthodox Jews, right?
Is that Torah?
I mean,
I thought that's like Talmud and Zohar.
Let me. Okay, what would you say? What sect of
because
Judaism?
There's those Jews in Israel and in New York City are like, no, dude, Zionism is wrong.
Let's see, what sect of Judaism?
What percentage of that is those, though?
Chabad is a branch of Hasidic Judaism, which itself is part of Orthodox Judaism. So yeah, they're Hasidics. They're Hasidim. I see them, but I don't believe them.
Johnny loves black voices.
No, that's from Sopranos.
Okay.
Well, a weird take was that usually people that are like into ancient civilizations, Tartaria is always an option or an idea, and he straight was like, nope. That's not a thing, and then Johnny jumped right behind it.
Johnny loves it.
Yeah.
Well, no, because
Johnny hates Tartaria.
People see Tartary on a map, and then they're like, "Boy, that's old, and that ain't on our maps today. That must be something special, hidden knowledge." And it's really just because to me, the people like
so that's just a made up map, though. It's just someone.
No. It was like a country, called Tartary. I mean, it was, yeah. I mean, but I to me, people who really buy into that shit will say, you know, they want you to, the world's way more mysterious, and they, you know, they want you to feel small. But that, to me, the idea that humans can't do these wondrous things and we're incapable of it is nothing makes a man feel smaller than that. This idea that they used to be able to do all this sick shit, but you don't know how to do anything, and you can't possibly because of this lost knowledge that we'll never know. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
I do know what you're saying, and you make me feel small.
No, but that cuts both ways, right?
Right.
Because
I mean, it just goes based on the architectures being put out right now, the type of homes. Like nothing
go
is
to China, bro. Go to UAE. You tell me they're not
right.
pumping
I
out
mean,
sick
dude,
shit
there
over
is a psychological, spiritual warfare by the elites on America because America's military has been hijacked by the Bank of England and used as stormtroopers, and they don't want us smart enough. Just think they don't want us smart enough or healthy enough to engage in our politics. So, I mean, just look at like how America is, what we're putting out now, how we're competing around the world, all that stuff. Like we used to dominate in everything. And now like, yeah, we might win, but it's really close, or we don't win at all.
At all.
Like,
right?
What are you speaking of there? Like sports and stuff?
Sports, culturally,
appliances.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, China, Japan is lapping the shit out of us.
But I mean, do you think Americans are? What was that down to back then? You think it was our culture was superior?
Yeah,
to theirs?
our culture was different. It's kind of like with YouTube, right? YouTube used conspiracy theorists to build YouTube because they were getting all these views, and then as soon as they got big enough, they wiped them out, and now they had to bring them back because they were losing views. You know, like they basically brought them back because Rumble and Twitter were starting to get real traction, allowing conspiracy theorists. So they're like, okay, you can come back to our platform. You know, I think that's what they did with America. They empowered Americans. They made us look great. They educated us, made us really big, created the whole system. And once the grid was created, now they kind of want to implode it so that we can't participate in it anymore, and they can just steal our money. Like they're really trying to implode the whole thing.
Western democracy, like or what do you implode what?
Yeah, like the Constitution, our banking system, our culture. Imploded so they can rebuild it in a way China is, where if you talk out of hand or anybody, which really destroys destroys everything.
One world government is what you're thinking.
Well, it's more about just like this like fascist top down kind of society.
Well, dude, the people that are espousing fascism now, it's like shocking to me that like. Do you know, like people who are like, we need a strong man. You know, maybe Trump should get it. Well, no, fewer people now are saying that.
I think he just destroyed his legacy, but I think that was his job. I mean, now nobody's talking about the Republicans, just like nobody was talking about Democrats. And it's so bad for the Democrats that they have to redistrict everything to have a chance to win now.
Well, you know, I was saying this with Eric Swalwell. I mean, they should really run him for president because he's the one Democrat who's verifiably into adult women. You know, it's like we know this guy. He's like he likes chicks. You know, like he's the best Democrat to run. All the others are PTFs, right?
I mean, dude, we're gonna get to my dates real quick. Have you seen that in the governor's race that suddenly this Latino guy comes out of nowhere?
Of course.
And they're like, oh, he's leading. You're like, he jumped 20 points and nobody knows who he is. Yeah. It's such a magic trick of bullshit.
Dude, the elections in California are the most rigged elections in the whole country.
And it's all just psyops and magic tricks. This guy, dude, I could go down to Hollywood Boulevard, Venice Beach, wherever LA people hang out and go, do you know who this guy is?
With the sign.
I guarantee you. I have
no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah, go look it up. The guy who said they're reading the polls. You have to look it up, Johnny. You're pretty educated.
Yeah, I have no idea. And I mean, if Spencer Pratt doesn't win mayor,
it's done.
It's a rigged. I mean, because nobody wants any of those. Nobody, even the hardcore Democrats.
It's so funny. They're like
Xavier Becerra.
What?
Xavier Becerra, is that his name? Is that the guy?
Yeah, I think he's
he's
a Latino guy. Yeah. Do you know him? Have you heard of him?
And he asked my name. No, and I don't even know him.
Yeah, nobody knows this guy.
He's the former U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary and the former Attorney General of California. There's Chad Bianco, who's the Republican and Riverside County Sheriff. Steve Hilton is running.
Hilton is supposed to be winning. I don't even know, but it was Bianco and Hilton that were leading, that there wasn't even going to be a Democrat in the fucking governor's race because the top two were supposed to make it.
Bianco's a Republican, right?
Yeah.
Okay, California polling. Let's see. And then you can do the promo. It says Becerra surges, which is hilarious.
20 points?
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere? He's done nothing magical. There's no giant moment where everyone gets beyond.
Swalwell, I guess. This says 10 days ago, Eric Swalwell was getting very close to becoming the Democratic candidate for governor of California, but then he imploded. Within hours of the revelation, Swalwell abandoned his campaign.
I wasn't hours. It was days.
Those turned off by Tom Steyer, who's been spending lavishly on TV. His wealth has turned some people off, I guess, because if you're wealthy, you're evil. I guess this is
they all ran together. They held hands and ran to his house.
Yeah.
Like it's such bullshit.
The Democratic
dude.
Party released its latest tracking poll on Monday, revealing that the two Republicans, that Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, are still leading the pack, 16%. Oh, that's so low. 16% and 14%. However, the big news is that Becerra has shot up from 4% to 13%, topping all Democrats.
Well, they had it at 23% yesterday.
Well, I think that's probably among the Democrats, and then including all parties. But that's
it's
insane,
all garbage, dude.
It's garbage.
Nobody knows who this fucking guy is. It's all fucking. And I love the Democrats are doing so bad. They had to completely rig Virginia. And do you know what the end result of the poll was?
Which poll?
The voting was in Virginia to redistrict. It was like 50.8 to 49.2.
I'm sure that was legit.
Oh, and like 35,000 votes just came in at the end under yes. And they'll never do anything about it, dude.
They're such hypocrites for that, bro. All they talked about was gerrymandering, and then they were like, you know what, we'll do it too.
Yeah, 100%. And now it went from like 6 Democratic politicians got in and 5. Now it's 10 and 1. 10 Democrats.
We need a new system.
1, dude, have you been hearing about Andrew Wilson saying that women should be allowed to vote? And again,
should not. Sorry.
Yeah. And he brings up some valid points because they can't go to war. They can't do a lot of shit. And it's not just women. I don't think that should be voted. I think you should prove that you are actually emotionally and intellectually fit to vote.
They should give you a quiz on at least. You should have to answer a question about who you're voting for.
And you only get one shot at because you got to do it somewhere you can't Google.
Yeah, they flash their faces up on the screen and you have 5 seconds to pick the picture of the person.
And you know what would be the best part? You vote anyways, they just don't count your vote if you don't pass.
No, don't know.
That way you don't even feel bad. That way no one feels bad. That way everyone's just like, yo, you voted. And if you didn't pass the fucking test, you just
like being muted on Twitter.
Yeah, it's just being muted. Like, yo, thank you for birthday. Because then they're not going to want to vote. They're not going to want to vote anymore. So we have to.
They just rig it, though, right? That'd be so easy to rig, right? But there's got to be some kind of. And they call that, what the Democrats will do is call that a poll tax. Because that's how they kept black people from voting. They'd add poll taxes or they'd make requirements like you had to pass like a
I think voting should be free. I think you should actually prove that you're engaged enough to vote. I remember I was talking to this one female comic. This was like 15, 16 years ago. She told me she voted for Obama because he's cute. I'm like, you should not be voting. Right? And there's also idiots who are on the right that shouldn't be voting.
Oh, of course there are. Yeah.
It's not just get rid of the left. Get rid of the crazies on the right too.
No, do an even percentage. Get rid. Yeah, people are like, rock the vote, get out the vote. No, we need fewer voters.
Yeah, we don't want the rock the vote. If you're voting because you're trying to rock, we don't need you voting.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, sock the vote.
Sock the vote. Stay home from the vote.
Yeah, dude, we should go out. We should print shirts and stuff and go out and be like, stay home on election day.
Stay home from the vote.
Yeah, anybody we should get like a really shitty musician like this. Like, we should have a Machine Gun Kelly concert. And then everybody who's there is like, listen, you're into Machine Gun Kelly. Probably don't need to vote.
Yes.
We'll give you a free corn dog.
If
not
you're
to vote.
into any of this, stay home from the vote. All right, guys, go to samtripoli.com. Dallas tonight, Fort Worth tomorrow night, Huntington. My special, I got to send my stuff to them to make sure they're okay with it. I hadn't heard back from them, and I don't know if that's good.
Why wouldn't they be okay with it? It's
I don't know.
Legion of Skanks, right? Like,
Well, listen, it's not them. I'm not saying that. But if it's like, how much of the YouTube rules do you want to follow?
Oh, I see. You're thinking of the outlet. I got you. Yeah. Okay.
Right? It's not them. They love it. I could go
That's
on
where
any of their
that's
show.
where but it's being published to YouTube. Is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's going to put it on their channel. I don't want to get them in trouble.
Oh, of course.
That's the only reason. That they're not censoring at all.
They seem to get away with a lot more than we do. I'll say that on their channel.
No, yeah, Johnny, we were conspiracy theorists on this channel. Yeah. It's like when I look at there's other old school conspiracy theorists, and you look at like their views like 15 years ago, hundreds of thousands. That you look at them now, 5,000 views. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you're not allowing people to compete. And it's like, but you're allowing people doing the same thing that we're doing to compete.
Yeah. There's no rhyme or well, no, I won't say
Albuquerque.
It's a scam.
It's just like they're so queenie about it. It's a bunch of bitch asses over there YouTube going, wah.
I'm torn between whether it's arbitrary or whether it's really targeted, though.
Tombstone is. The Tombstone algorithm is targeted as we remember you, asshole. 1,000 episodes sold out. Joke World, excuse me, go up. St. Petersburg, and then Lawrence, Kansas, then Tulsa, and then finally go on.
The only answer for us is to drive up
New
your
Orleans.
sub numbers on YouTube.
On Austin. What?
We got to drive up your subscription numbers on YouTube.
We're trying. It just goes nowhere. Check out some killer. Guys, real quick, please join my newsletter. The guys on my website, we're going to be sending out a weekly newsletter on Sundays. It's going to tell you what the live streams we're doing that week, when they are, where I'm appearing, any fun clips of me with hot chicks. I'll put that all out there. Do you want that on there, dude?
You finally
they can use
you finally hit 160,000 subs on YouTube, by the way.
Yay.
So you got that next. It only took you like 3 years to get the next 10,000.
That's amazing. That's 3,000 a year.
Look how it is. I'm already subscribed.
Yeah, look at that. Okay.
There we go.
Go back. We're going to do it. Premium content's on point. I know I didn't do any last week. I was traveling, doing so much. Sorry about that. We're back at it. We'll do one tonight, a live stream. Cash Days, talk about Johnny.
Yeah, Howie has been, what would you say? Killing it.
Killing it.
He's got 2 pre-earnings plays, a list of current value stocks. He starts the year with a list of stocks that he'll be tracking in his portfolio this year. Those are good for long-term investing, for retirement. Safe things.
We're trying to help you make money.
Yeah, that's what it's just a group of people who are trying to help each
working
other
together.
out. Yeah.
Go up. You heard about Chaos Twins.
It's like Wall Street bets
go
without all the
down.
crackheads.
Go down. You heard about Chaos Twins. T-shirts are available. I have to hit up my buddy. I got a new T-shirt idea. Go check out that. Great way to support the show. Old classics are back. Buy gold and silver. AquaCure and hydrogen gold and silver. Wise Wolf gold and silver. Hydrogen brown gas from our boys at AquaCure. Harley Ray. Chemical Free Body. Took it today. I'm telling you, I love this stuff. Keeps me going. Joel Staley getting shape. EMF Rocks. Prometheus.
Off. I'm off this week.
Nice. Nuke Social. Guys, if you go on Nuke Social, all my social media is being uploaded there. You can get it directly there. Plus, you meet a lot of people from all over the internet that are all talking, and it's basically I'm using the same social media service that True Social does. So Nuke Social, for anyone who loses their nukes, loses their I don't know what's going on there. Go over. Yeah. Real quick, the rest of it. My new Crowdwork special's coming out. Go up on YouTube. It's YouTube. Get off of this.
Oh, you're talking about this. My bad.
Yes,
my bad.
there
my
we
bad,
go.
My bad. Yeah.
Yes. No, that's not it. Why isn't it listed?
What are you looking for?
Go to videos.
Are you sure it's not on the other channel?
No, it's on this
be on
channel.
this one.
There it is. Click that.
Oh, because that hasn't premiered. It premieres today. Or
Yeah,
it
No,
premieres, that's why.
premieres on the
May
second.
2nd, yeah.
But I had it listed. I don't know why it's not listed. You gotta go to the thing. Here
I
it
like
is.
that, dude. That image is great.
I guess who made that?
That's real.
AI.
Me.
Tripley did. Tripley
With
made
AI.
that.
Yeah. Hero live from Batavia. It
I like
is.
it.
What? Any comments already? Let's hear. I know someone's gonna say. Yeah,
5 stars.
5-star live at AM. Well, it's AM on the East Coast. Yeah, I mean, it's just people want to catch it when they catch it. I don't know what to tell you. So that is May 2nd, Hero. It's 35 minutes of pure fire. What else do we got? World War Debate. That's going to be coming too. So go check that out. We're having some huge meetings coming up. It's so close to going, dude, and it's going to be pure fire.
I really want to go to the next one.
I'm going to let you know. And so let me tell you.
Tell them about this. We need this one to grow.
Oh, yeah. Tinfoil Hat official, dude. We're almost up to 54,000 subscribers.
That's really going.
Yeah, dude. It's good.
Nice.
We should do a live one soon.
Yeah.
We should
we
do
need to.
for a little while, do some live ones on there. And, hey, dude, some of these, we're finally starting to get a tiny bit of views. Thank you, guys. Tiny bits. Anything else?
I just want to thank everybody who came to my 420 show. Sam
Packed
killed
it
it, and
out.
we packed it out. So Swarm, if you pulled up, I just want to say thank you.
New BS that will be out by the time you hear this. We got so much to talk about. This is the crazy. I just feel like I say it every week now, but every week is crazier than the last. Check out Broken Simulation on iTunes, whatever the hell, and then YouTube.
I thought Matt LaCroix was great. I find it very interesting. I've also said I believe a lot in mysticism.
Yeah, but what I was going to ask you, I know we kind of went over it. You booking your tour yet?
I haven't yet. I will go.
I think you should. I think
the region of Vaughn and see my people. And I
You
don't
have
care.
to, bro.
I am a descendant of Gilgamesh.
You have to stay.
I am a descendant of Sumerian kings.
I would tell you to do your that DNA test. Even
No.
though I know you shouldn't.
I want my brother to do it,
Yeah,
just so I can be like, they can have your shit. They already got it.
Hey, no, they'll still connect you to it. People have got it.
I know we might not be perfectly matched, right? Isn't that weird when a
Yeah,
brother?
he's got more dick gene than you do. But.
He does have a bigger dick, Johnny. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, you tell us that all the time. So of course
my
you know.
brother who's younger has a bigger dick than me.
Better
okay?
He's got the bowling
But who
gene.
has the
too.
kids? This guy whose gun shoots.
You're still
Who's
proud
off
of. You're
mic?
proud of your brother, right?
No, I love my brother.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You gotta be proud of him.
Yeah, he's a great bowler.
He's a great good-looking guy.
Hog.
Great, got fat hog.
Master of the Irish exit.
Man, I don't even know what that means.
You just leave without saying goodbye. That guy.
Oh, he's
That's
one of
my
those.
brother.
He's one of those.
He doesn't
yeah,
do
dude,
that
yeah.
as much, but
No,
he has
he
done.
did that like 3 times in Austin when I was there. He was in the green room and your show was on, and then he just disappeared. Never saw him again.
My brother's such a weirdo like that. He likes to just roam. He's a roam. I do
you
that
say
too.
that? Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, you do the same thing, bro. I've been to major sporting events with you where you just walk the concourse for like 30
I
minutes.
just
at a
like
time.
to stare at people.
My sister does that same thing when she disappeared with the Irish goodbye. And
Yeah,
she
I do that too.
She told me, she's like, you save like 6 months of your life not saying bye to people.
Oh,
Yeah,
I do.
you
Dude,
just
I used to
leave.
do that in relationships.
Joey Diaz used to do that all the time. He would be on one of my shows. He's like, I gotta go use the bathroom. I'm like, thanks for coming on, Joey.
yeah.
Always a pleasure to talk to you. Take care.
That's great, bro. Yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah, I thought it was great, dude. Being a descendant of Gilgamesh, a Sumerian king, that really resonated with me. And just, it's interesting though, right? The underworld, the
Yeah.
the 3 levels.
Oh, the 3 doors right
it
behind
sounds related.
Jesus.
Oh,
at the
dude,
supper,
Johnny,
at the Last
come on.
Supper.
You don't think that was crazy?
Oh, I do, but I mean, that's not a photograph of the Last Supper. You
I
understand?
know, but still,
mean-
look, Johnny, I'm not saying it's a
It's a
photograph. I'm saying that the fact that he put that in there.
Yeah, no, of course.
That's
yeah.
super interesting.
Yeah,
Work with me.
It is interesting to me too that it kind of relates to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I mean, because this seems like maybe it could be related to that. Like,
And then you get into like Aleister Crowley, and all he did was flip everything to make it dark. You know,
Yeah.
so above, so below. The way
As above, so below.
as above, so below. The way that everyone is like, that's dark arts, dude. That's occult darkness, and you're like, what if they did that so you don't look into it?
Yeah.
Baphomet. I mean, with the fingers up and down, you know, that whole thing.
It's such a so many layers.
Minefield.
It's a mind of minefields.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
it's a
only-
It's a
minefield.
field of mind fucks.
The question-
Should I make that the title?
Or the
Minefield
t-shirt.
of mind fucks.
or a T-shirt. The question I did forget
Oh,
to
dude,
ask
if I
him-
made a T-shirt of that, the fittest flat earther would
Oh, boy.
have 30 issues on it.
Did you just see your new little special series that he just pulled out of you? It was like a 7-minute reel.
Yeah, dude, that's all he does.
Yeah.
Oh, look at his hat. Like, dude, I saw Cooper Cup wearing an upside down hat.
Yeah.
That's all LA hat.
They're very popular now. He's like, yeah.
They're everywhere. Oh, it's
He's never
fallen
heard of that.
angels.
No,
It's like,
funny because he got someone that your face kind of does have a comparison, and he does that thing.
yeah,
But
that's.
no, I
What
know.
do you, hold on.
Give me a second.
Are you saying he's. Yeah,
No, he's not right. Give me a second.
No, hold on.
What?
But are you saying the Francis Bacon
No,
thing?
he found someone else that kind of looks like you, another person, and he got really close to your face, and your mouth got linked up comparison, but then he's like, but the teeth don't. But I don't know what they do with the teeth. So it's like it doesn't work, but he's finding a way
But
to do it.
who's he saying I am?
Yeah, we need to know this.
Johnny,
you
we'll
see-
talk about on BS.
Here, I'll pull it up
Yeah, we
right here.
gotta
Okay,
find
yeah.
that out.
Who am I?
The fittest flurfer.
I mean, he's just, dude, it's so obvious what he's doing.
Major on the bike.
Obviously, every time he does something with me, he gets views. So that's why he keeps doing it.
He could come on Broken Sam anytime.
I've offered him. He won't come on, dude.
Yeah, because he's got nothing to defend. You're gonna be like, dude, I'm a retard. I'm obviously not Francis Bacon, one of the greatest
You got to put fittest.
writers in history.
The fittest flat earther. This is taking too long.
Yeah,
Just you spelling is taking too long. Oh, there he is.
is it there? You got
Yep.
it?
So where's the newest one he just made of you?
Look at this. I mean, it's always like, hey, this guy looks like this guy. Oh, is he saying Epstein is Andrew Jackson
Yeah.
right there?
Dude,
Come
you know
on,
what
bro.
he's really doing is basic bitch shit. Look how fat I was there, dude. Look how fat I was. He should do that. He should be like they've cloned him or he
you're fat?
shape-shifted because I was so fat back then.
What's he saying though?
No, he's like, yeah.
You had to share. Remember?
Yeah, no, but he got you some new guy, which is weird because it's some guy that he's alive now, but yet you're him at the same
Yeah,
time.
it's so
And
great.
then he puts
Wait,
the
how are
voice.
you? What?
I have really great friends, and they were trying to contact him to tell him that it's not true.
Yeah, that's the great. I'm like, it's
I
like
love
the-
that he like because I have a Raiders shirt on, right? Right?
Well,
like,
he's not
dude,
saying
look
you're
at-
Teddy. Oh no, he's saying that.
these guys all look alike. Like
Yeah.
literally,
Robin
Robin
Williams
Williams
is Teddy
is playing him, and he's like, "Look how similar they look." It's like he's playing a role, you dumbass.
But the best part is he actually played the clip of us talking about it on the pod.
Oh really?
Yeah, he
Of course he does. Of course he does. He's a fucking retard.
He's gonna
Play
this
that on
Sunday.
there, you
Do
fucking
you notice what
retard.
he's doing there too? He's doing commentary of something else that he already did a clip. It's
Sam L.
Have you seen
It's
this?
just so dumb.
Sam-
Play that again. Play that.
See, that's
This
the
is my-
episode. That's the episode. He's playing the clip where Johnny's talking about it. He's like, "Why would you come back as Francis Bacon?" And we're like, "No, Shakespeare. Remember your Shakespeare as well."
Yeah.
It all got brought back into it. It's
Yeah,
hilarious. 'cause
I mean, he's just such an idiot. I mean, hey, play this, you fucking retard. You are a fucking basic bitch conspiracy theorist. And like he's showing us this fucking thing. Dude, he's so stupid, dude. He's so
Do you
dumb.
think
Play what he's
serious?
saying.
Do you think he's for real?
Dude, a lot of people think he's a Fed.
Are you saying that just to get his goat?
No, a lot of people called him a Fed.
I just think he's probably he realized what gets him a little traction. And
No, of course.
And well, there's one show in this world that I watch, and it just happens to be Below Deck. And remember, I said
this is who this
he
is.
watches below. That's like C tier reality
That's
TV.
who he thinks you are. That's who he.
Bobby. He's
Oh my God! That is so hilarious.
He's just messing
We
with
make
you.
a fa- yeah, dude. He's just dumb. Oh my God, dude.
how exact your
Look at the voice.
are.
You have anger? All the time. I'm Armenian. Yeah, I go zero the felony very quickly. Really? And that's a big part of just like breathing and like knowing that
Nobody's hearing this, but
Yeah.
Sam's voice, who has anger. Let's hear what Bobby has to say.
you care.
That's you.
Let me get in trouble. Danny got away with.
What is he saying?
That
he's
you
saying
sound
that
like
you
him.
cloned his voice, I guess.
Yeah, or that you look. Yeah, dude. He goes.
But what is he saying?
It's like the people who say that Bill Hicks and Alex Jones are the same person, despite the fact that they lived at the same time.
I don't know what he's saying there. It's so dumb.
He's not a bright guy, bro.
Yeah, okay. I love it. Thank you for letting everybody know about my shit. Such fucking retards. I mean, just literally the dumbest.
You know, he used to be a PE teacher, right?
I'm going to be honest with you.
He's a PE teacher?
A retired PE teacher.
No, the best part of this is like, it's almost like, what is the best defense? Stupidity. Like, he's so dumb he doesn't even know.
Oh yeah, you couldn't sue him for it because they would just be like,
Yeah, he's like, he would show up just fucking drooling on himself. God bless you, fit as flat earther.
Yes, God
enjoy
bless
the
you, sir.
grift. Enjoy making money off my name. Have a great time, dude. Enjoy. I'm glad I could help you get some views and help, pay the bills. It's hilarious. Anyways, enjoy the highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
So here is we'll just play just a little of this. He was there to discuss fast tracking Ibogaine.
Okay, let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, which is
Let's keep that in mind.
He's in this. If you're listening, it's Trump at a desk. It's an awkward thing because Trump's at a desk looking back over his shoulder at Rogan, who's immediately behind him, along with a host of other people, including RFK Jr.
Trump some information. We have a gigantic opiate problem in this country, obviously. In 2024, more than 80,000 people died of overdoses. It's a horrible number. And there's more than 5 million people that are addicted to opiates right now in this country. With one dose of Ibogaine, more than 80% of people are free of that addiction. With 2 doses, it's more than 90%. I sent him that information. The text message came back, sounds great. Do you want FDA approval? Let's do it. It was literally that quick. These drugs are illegal not because they're harmful. They're illegal because of the 1970 Controlled Substances Act that was passed by the Richard Nixon administration. They did it to target the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement. It's not because these drugs harm people. And for 56 years, we've lived under those terrible conditions. We're free of that now. We're free of that now. Thanks to all these people that we see next to me, and thanks to President Trump.
Can I just say really? So Rogan says this thing like, yeah, he's like, you want FDA approval? Now Trump, you could see immediately he makes a face like he's not quite happy with that.
Don't say that out loud.
Yeah. So listen, now this is CYA, the CYA moment for Trump right here. This is great.
CYA, what does that mean?
Cover your ass.
We all respect Joe, and he's a little bit more liberal than. That's okay. I have a lot of friends that are liberal, but Joe is an amazing guy, and he wrote me a little note about this, and I had it checked out. I didn't just do it. I had it checked out. I went to Bobby and Oz. I went to some of the people that work for you, real pros, and everybody came back with the same answer. Normally they'll come back, because this happens a lot. I have a couple of them like that where they're not sure. It's like, it goes 2 ways. This thing, everybody thought it was incredible.
So yeah, that was funny. He was like, "No, I didn't just like text him back. Does he want FDA approval?" Obviously,
Yeah. We're not that corrupt here,
Bro,
Come on.
You know he did that. You know he immediately was like, "Yeah, sure."
Of course he did, and nobody freaked out about that. So here's the thing, guys. As you know, I am very protective of Joe Rogan. I'm not going to apologize for that. It's just, I'm just an old school guy. You're loyal to people who helped you. And unless the guy is involved in a murder or hurting people like children, I'm ride or die. And and if that becomes a thing that sinks the whole ship, then the ship gets sunk. It's just, that's not how I was raised, dude. You stick by the people that showed you kindness when they didn't have to. And that's it. So when I go, people are like, oh, he sold out, he did this. Like, okay, so let's break down the issue right here, which is, does this drug help people who are addicted to opiates, right? And by the way, the fact that only 5 million people are addicted to opiates, that seems low to me in this country, because apparently they all live near me, because it seems like it's everywhere, right?
5 million? Is that the number they're saying? It's way more than that. Sure.
It's got to be way more than that. 5 million? You're like in a country of 330 million people? That seems low. I think it's way higher than that. So, I mean, are we talking about, is this a good issue? Is this an important issue? Obviously. Right? Is it true that this drug helps people after 2 doses get off of opiates? Is it true? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, it is true. Right? I don't know why Rogan would go up there and lie like that. I mean, he seems very like he works with precision in his life. So let's say it's true. It's true. Right? What is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to wait till AOC gets in the presidency and try to make that happen? I mean, he has a lifeline. He has a connection to the president. It doesn't mean that he agrees with everything the president's doing. No, I mean, no, obviously. But why wouldn't you, Johnny? If you knew that you could get butt plugs for women passed for free, and I was the head of the department, and maybe you don't like that I make everybody salute the Raider flag when they go to school every day. You don't like that, but you have an in with me to get free butt plugs to the ladies, right? Would you call me and try to pitch why we should have butt plugs for the world?
You picked the issue closest to my heart, Sam.
Okay.
You picked butt plugs for women. So obviously, yes. I mean, I can't think of much I wouldn't do to get that important
for the ladies, for the hot moms in the comment section that just can't afford butt plugs. Okay.
Yes.
Would you not want to help them? They're moms. They're working hard.
I am trying to get the country on the butt plug standard. We went
off the gold standard. All are, dude.
We got to get our money back by something.
I mean, you've seen statistics which say moms with butt plugs are happier people. Okay.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you call me up, even though you hate that everyone has to salute the Raider flag every time they go to a federal building or a school? That might make you upset, but you're looking at big picture. So why wouldn't you do that? That's my question, and it also gets in this thing. I've had conversations with people about the Charlie Kirk. Where was Rogan?
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulate.
Las 6 de la tarde es hora de Primer Impacto, con las noticias más increíbles e impactantes de la televisión. Primer Impacto desde esta tarde a las 6 por Univisión Puerto Rico.
What's up? Welcome back to the #1 podcast in the world. It's just your boy XG Marks the Spot. No chili millie. We got a wake and bake episode here on a Friday morning here for you guys. It's gonna be a crazy episode. I got a lot of FUPA talk. I got We Don't Smoke the Same Comedy Store sell out. I gotta talk about that. That shit was amazing. Like I said, I got FUPA talk. We're talking about the fake Donald Trump assassination. I got some clips to play. A little bit of David. David finally got arrested, dog. Pedo, dog. We've been talking about this fool. He kidnapped some girl from Lake Elsinore. So, I got to talk about my hometown. It's going to be a great episode. But right off the bat, I just want to thank everybody. I'm talking DJ Paz, Mega Man, Scumbags in the building, Mad Ways, El Grito Kid. I can't even talk about how many people I saw at the We Don't Smoke the Same Comedy Store. Main room sold out, 320 people. We packed that place out. We smoked that motherfucking place out. I got videos that I want to play from the place. We had some guy, what was his name? Potluck or something. He came with like a weed blower. Dog, we made the Comedy Store look like it was burning the fuck down. My homegirl Brittany from BJ's, one of my my homeschool, one of my like longtime homegirls, went to the show unexpectedly, didn't even say what's up, but she left a little early. Not a little early, but, right after the show, we all kicked it. Everyone smoked out. We ended up going to the Rainbow Room. We had a fucking bus. Dude, it felt like some, baller shit. I couldn't believe it. Like literally, we had a bus outside waiting to take us to another fucking venue. It was amazing. DJ Pass was in the building. We don't do it. We do it differently, dog. Everybody left there with a bong, goodies, a Deftone by this a Deftone album signed by Steftone. One of the hardest autographs to get. He don't do autographs, so if you come to our shows, that's how we motherfucking do it. I'm gonna play some videos here for you guys because I know you guys don't believe me. If you weren't there, you motherfucking missed out. We're gonna do it again, probably 7:10. We got to do it again, and it was one of the coolest things. Sam was there, dude. I got videos of Sam smelling an armpit. Look, I'm gonna start off with this video right here because I just couldn't believe it. I got to the Comedy Store. I've been there plenty of times. If you know anything about me, I've been listening to Rogan since I was like motherfucking 19, 20. Like right when I started smoking weed, people were like, you should listen to Rogan, dog. And I'm like, who? The guy that fucking Fear Factor? And then I got little clips of him. Before I started listening to 3-hour fucking podcasts, I would listen to these clips and I'm like, bro, this fool's dropping some knowledge. So then I learned about the Comedy Store and I went a couple times and I went back in the heyday. I'm talking, I went in the early 2016. They weren't even checking tickets. That's when Sam Tripoli and them were doing blow in the fucking green room, fucking bitches in the hallway. Dude, those were the heydays. Like, me and these don't talk about being there in the heydays. No, they were in the chaos when Comedy Store was ran by Mitzi Shore. But when we got there, like I said, it was nuts. I couldn't believe what I saw. Because usually, like I say, I've been there plenty of times for Sam, for George. I've been there for Willie. I've been there for Felipe. I've helped run a couple shows. But seeing this on the marquee was fucking nuts. When I got there, I didn't even know that was going to be a thing. So
This motherfucker, dog. Fucking, I'm a fat boy.
Look at that, baby.
Go get a fucking they're waiting. We went inside to put the shit in. They're waiting for me to say, oh, we're going to put the shit in. They're waiting for me to say, oh, we're going to
Asheville King, baby. We were all happy. E-Zone was stoked. Ray was stoked. My girl was there. E-Zone's girl was there. It was a fucking amazing time. I just want to thank everybody again. I know I keep saying it, but it was something I couldn't believe. Chili, you missed out, homegirl. I know everybody's asking for Chili. Where the fuck Chili Millie at? She was busy the last couple days, so she's here. But yeah, we'll be back. Me and Chili Monday night. Me and Chili, we're back. We're back, baby. We're back. But we missed you at the show, dog. We missed you, Chili. Everybody was asking about you. We got a lot of maniacs in the building. I think we sold at least 10 tickets because some motherfuckers were out there waiting for you. We got a couple people in the chat rooms. We got DJ Paz. We got Jimmy Rodriguez. What's up, homie? How you doing? And yeah, dog. Let me play this video of how it looked outside, homie. It was some shit where I was like, there is no way. I mean, I was wasted. I'm not going to lie. I was like 5 double jack and cokes in. So I don't remember a lot of this fucking interaction. But check this out, dog. Shout out to fucking whoever brought this weed blower. Check it out, bro. Outside the Comedy Store, dog.
Holy shit.
Hadar in the radar, dog. That's all good ass Hadar weed too, by the way. All that fuck shit you guys usually get. Let's play it one more time.
Holy shit. Thank you, brother.
It makes me want to smoke, dog. Should I light up? Should I light up? I do have a fucking chickless hash hole right here. Should I light this motherfucker up? Should I light this up? You guys already know we don't smoke the same. Where my chiclet? Right here, baby. Fuck, dog. It was amazing, dog. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't motherfucking believe it. Sam said some crazy. Sam said one of the coolest things he said to me the other day. We were doing tinfoil hat, and right when the show was over, he just came and said, congratulations on selling out the store. And he was just giving me my props, and then he finally told me it felt like the Comedy Store before COVID. That, to me, is one of the best, because that's a vibe, dog. Before COVID, the Comedy Store was a vibe. Me and you don't always talk about it. It was me, GP, George Perez, Sidekick Eddie, Willie, DJ Will. It was a different time, dog. And I'm glad that we kind of brought that vibe back. The green room was packed. We had bitches in the green room. We were smoking in the green room. Some people are partying, if you know what I mean. It was packed. It was one of the fucking best shows I think I've been part of. And Sam was wilding out. I got a video. I got a picture of Sam right here. Where's this picture? God damn it. See if I can pull it up. Whatever. But I got a picture of Sam smelling Stevana DeGallo's armpit. That's fucking old school comedy shit, dog. Sam Tripoli wilding out. You guys can go see it on Stevana's page with Sam Tripoli. Stevana performs, kills, and then Tripoli comes out there. He's like, homegirl, you did so good. And then he's like, can I smell your armpit? He sauce, bro. Stevana goes up like this, and Sam Tripoli fucking a good whiff, dog. Shit was nuts. It was amazing. What a fucking night, dog. What a fucking night. Thank you for everybody who came out. I'm going to say it one more time. Muchas gracias. We'll see you guys at 7:10. You guys already know what we do. What's up, guys? Since I'm talking about Sam, we got some guy talking more shit. You guys already know the flat earther, the fittest flat earther. He's talking more shit. He's saying Sam Tripoli is some new guy. He's not Francis Bacon no more. He went from Francis Bacon to some other influencer, some guy on Down and Under. I don't even know what this show is. It's a pretty it's a kind of a long video, but he's talking shit on Sam Tripoli. Then he plays a clip from our podcast on his fucking reels. Or I think he does a podcast, which is weird because this fool used to be a PE teacher, retired PE teacher. He's out here just making conspiracy theorists look fucking nuts, bro. I'm gonna play this video. I know you guys know who this is because I'm sure you guys seen him. Sam talks about him all the time. This motherfucker right here, he just he just thinks we're I want to know who the fuck am I? If we're all reincarnated and Sam fucking if Sam's Francis Bacon and then Joe Rogan, if Alex Jones is Bill Hicks, who the fuck am I? Who did I reincarnate, dog? I want to know who I was back in the day. If we're all lizard people and we're just all reincarnated, who the fuck am I, dog? Why don't you do a video about me? Let's play this video, though, because it's fucking nuts. This guy's just reaching, like always.
These are the guys you think you're getting truth from? This guy, Sam Tripoli from the Tinfoil Hat podcast. Hey, cool devil horn, Sam. And cool one-eye symbolism. And
bro, like one-eye symbolism, that's he's reaching. He acts like he doesn't fucking know that that's the Raider logo. Like, I get what he means because people cover one eye. It's some conspiracy shit. But that's the Raider logo. Sam's been a Raider fan since he was a little kid. It's just like reaching where I understand where you're coming from, but you look stupid and sound stupid. You make us look stupid. He's going to say that fucking upside down hat is some fallen angel shit when we all know that that's just a popular hat out here in LA. Do I think it's stupid? I think it's stupid. I don't understand why the LA is upside down. Like your city upside down, which it is. It's fucking trash out here in LA. I don't understand that fucking hat, but it's not like Sam fucking created that theory.
Cool upside down Los Angeles hat, as in maybe the Lost Angels. Los Angeles are falling on your hat because you're a fallen angel and suspiciously look like Sir Francis Bacon. And the highest quality of bacon is AAA, Sam Tripoli. But I've done this. I've done that video, and he's mocked it, and he's played it over and over again. If it's so dumb, why do you keep playing it, Sam? Because these fallen angel babies are...
You hear that? Why do you keep playing it? It's so dumb. Because you're fucking retarded, and we can't get over how stupid and how much of a stupid reach theory this is.
Played it over and over again. If it's so dumb, why do you keep playing it, Sam? Because these fallen angel babies are prideful, and they want to be recognized. And while this one's a little less prideful and a little bit less of a baby, I need to use him to show you something. They're shapeshifters. Uncle Pappy, young to old, to Robin Williams, to Teddy Roosevelt. They're shapeshifters. And they don't die. Just like Francis Bacon, the founder of Freemasonry and the writer of...
Imagine you're the founder of Freemasonry and you become Sam Tripoli. You reincarnate yourself into Sam Tripoli. I'm sure this Francis Bacon was like an elite back in the day. If you're the founder of Freemasonry, you're up there with the elites. I don't think you'd reincarnate yourself as Sam Tripoli. And not hating on Sam Tripoli. I love Sam Tripoli. But he failed the first grade. Like he says, he's like, you think Francis Bacon wouldn't be able to pass the first grade with flying fucking colors, dog? It makes no fucking sense, dude. It's just nuts, bro.
All of Shakespeare, who was a pretty intelligent guy, versus this guy who is, but he just puts on a dumb shit.
Deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hat.